Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's Fight Night Rising. Here we got another stacked lobby of 8 players here to give you guys some great games, and alongside me as always we have Casanova. How have you been, bud? How's your week?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm excited to kind of cap off the week on a Thursday, as usual, with a little bit of Fight Night Rising, a little bit of TFT. Been excited for it. We got some great players coming back, a couple new ones, but their faces you may recognize. So we got Deisik, the returning champ from last week. We got Pipa and Cayrub joining him from that lobby. And then actually, Soulless coming at you here. We haven't had him on, but this is the first time we're going to have Soulless in here. Naturesbf, Jinxed, Narkez, and Sphinx to round out this lobby. So definitely looking to be a good night of games.
All right, yeah, and of course, as always, we have the prizes for the top 4 finishers. First place, $100, second place, $50, third and fourth place are $25. But remember, as always, the top 3 get invited back. So these players are not only going to be competing, striving for that top 4, but that top 3 as well to get invited back for the chance at more winnings, more money, and more fame, more recognition. I've seen a lot of these players here, and a lot of them did pretty well. You mentioned Deisik last week. He came out here, was really, really consistent, got like 3 second places in a row, and then a little bit of spooky of a last game. But even still, like his scores were just, after 3 games, he nearly solidified himself as the victor. So, it's really coming out here, making a name for himself. He's only competed like 2 times, 3 times max here at Fight Night Rising.
2 fight nights.
Yeah,
and speaking of multi-time fight night players, Cayrub has played in back-to-back-to-back, top 3 his last 2. So he hasn't won one, but he's been here a week in and week out. So we'll see if he can finally get his victory in this lobby. But obviously going to be a tough battle here going against the rest of this lobby, the likes of Souless and Pipa. So we're going to have to see how he can do here. Get into game number 1.
Jumping into this lobby right away, and there has been a little bit of a patch a few days ago, couple days ago. So we'll see if players have already adjusted to what's going to be maybe their comfort or just what's good in this meta. It was a bit of a Shadows nerf with the Shadow synergy at 6 getting nerfed by 15%, Master Yi getting nerfed, and Scion getting nerfed. So that 6 Shadow power spike isn't as much of an insta win anymore. But we do start this game out on a Cloud Hex with that extra dodge. And we'll see what these players are going to be gravitating towards for this game.
Yeah, I mean, the patch is probably going to make a sizable difference in this fight night compared to the last one. I mean, we saw the power of Shadows last week, and we're going to maybe see it a little bit more here today, but definitely less so, or at least with less impact than it was in the previous fight night. Sphinx has picked up a tier for himself, but looks like he'll grab a chain vest on top of that.
Yep. And, something that I've noticed from playing in the past couple of patches is there seems to be a lot of variance in what you can actually get out of these first PvE rounds. I know that's something that, Mortog and Riot has come out and said like they want to, attempt to lower the variance a little bit, but it seems like there's a lot of times you get 4 items from the start. And that might sound like a good thing, getting 4 items, but then you're also getting no gold at that point. And it's really, really hard to, to get to that 50 gold mark by Krugs if you're starting the game off with 4 items. And we'll take a look and see what these players are actually getting. Sphinx does get a couple of gold there and another gold drop in the form of a Volibear and another one. So that's kind of high roll actually. It's about 6 gold there off of that. Ooh, and gets a couple of pairs of Volies and Warwicks as well.
Yeah, couple Volies, couple Warwicks, getting that glacial synergy early on, which was changed in the previous patch, not the hot fix recently, but didn't see a whole lot of glacials last week, but have they been popping up a bit more recently? Have you seen them?
Yeah, a little bit, I think. Definitely early game having glacial and electric, say with, Volibear, who is both of those, and then having either like a Braum or Warwick in, and then Ornn gives you electric damage when any, unit crits or gets crit. And the glacial proc as well is just so much additional match damage for the early game that if if Sphinx here is able to find a tier 2 Volibear, that's probably going to be not a guaranteed win streak until Krugs, but really, really likely depending on the strength of the rest of the lobby here. Hasn't found an Ornn yet, but definitely be looking for one soon.
Yeah, I believe we actually did see that one or two times last week.
Yeah.
I remember, I think H2 having it in. He had like 2 tier 1 Ornns and a couple Volies and Warwicks and just this line of big lads shocking everybody and freezing everyone. It was definitely interesting to see, and I think that's what you're alluding to. And we may see some people running that similar comp if they find the pieces, especially for the early game. Early Quicksilver by Pipa here that he's put onto his Renekton.
I was actually going to make a comment about that because as I remember from Pipa last week, Pipa was a very much let's try to go fast 8, hit Zed, and if we don't, then it's kind of doomed. He did, was able to I think perform well in 3 out of the games. That last game was looking a little bit doomed until he managed to stabilize. But Pipa's already making items for the late game because I think he was slamming QSS onto his Zed a lot during last fight night. So I think he's going to be trying to keep up that trend here this week as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that Quicksilver was a massive MVP in that fight.
Yeah.
It actually stopped this Renekton from being frozen. I think I counted 6 times from the glacial buff.
That's a lot.
Pretty much winning the fight single-handedly. And look, as people almost lost. So if any of those glacials had landed, it certainly would have gone the other way. So definitely working out for him in the early game, at least in that combat.
Yeah, already getting value because that's a matchup that you usually lose. We see Cayrub here having some very similar units here, but the electric on top of that, though.
Might be the same kind of thing happening, but this time around, the focus fire is not on the Renekton from the start, and that may make a big difference as he's not just staying alive forever, eating all of the attacks and stuns. Not sure if the Renekton's going to be able to get enough ultis out, but we're going to have to see, because those Call the Meeks, when they start to come out, are going to shred down the rest of this lineup. I mean, the GA goes out.
Ooh.
Does not get it off. He was able to get the Call the Meek off there. He might have been able to hang on it long enough to win that one, but taken down by the bellows breath of that Ornn there, and it's going to be a couple HP ticked off of the life total of Pipa, but not anything to worry about too much here.
Yeah, only 5 damage there. And yeah, through that last fight, it was just either dodge or cannot be disabled with the Cloud Hex and the QSS there. There's so much text popping up in that Renekton. But yeah, if that was either a tier 2 Renekton, or even if he was just able to get that Call of the Meek, if he might have survived. But Pipa probably not too upset about it. Pipa does have a playstyle that is okay with taking early damage in favor of getting the exact items that he wants for those late game carries like Singed and Zed. You know, he's probably going to be looking to make that belt into a Morello's or a Redemption, and that sword into a Guardian Angel. That Renekton getting a lot of value there, even this fight as well.
Yeah, Yasuo on the other side, though, going for the last breath, but not able to disable him. Still going to get the damage out, though. And it's not looking too good for Pipa on this round. But, of course, as you mentioned, Pipa likes to play for the late game, and getting an earlier pick on the items, which he was actually dropped into first pick, not going to be too bad for Pipa.
Does get first pick. There's a chain vest he's probably eyeing there, and yep, he does indeed grab that. Cayrub on the other side, grabbing the sparring glove on a Karma. Probably will end up selling that. But we'll see if these other players are trying to grab here as well. There was a rod taken on that carousel. Pipa just prepping to sell the carousel unit to make up to 20 gold here. Good play. You know, you can always sell that carousel unit for more econ. That's what all these players obviously will know, so they're utilizing that mechanic. I think he's just going to slam that GA onto the Ezreal right there. Probably look for a Glacial if possible, because Ezreal is one of those units that people kind of largely ignored before the Glacial change. But now that people are running, you know, a couple of Glacials and a couple of Rangers in the mid game, he suddenly is seeing a ton of play. He's getting prioritized where he hasn't before.
Yeah, and previously we did see him as an item carrier, so now with those changes, making him just a little bit stronger in the mid game without directly buffing him, definitely going to see a lot more of him as that item carrier, getting you into that late game, as he does do quite well with those, a lot of the items that you will be wanting on your late game hyper carry.
Definitely. I have even seen some people trying to make Ezreal work into late game as well. I think Saint Vicious actually was one of the people kind of pioneering the Ezreal build with Runan's Rageblade, and I think it was Static Shiv as the last item as well. You know, Ezreal being Glacial, having a couple of Rangers, and maybe even 4 Glacials at that point, give him a Runan's, and suddenly he's proccing Glacial on 2 things per hit, stacking up that attack with the Rageblade, and it just ends up being so much damage, and pretty much all of it being due to that Glacial change. So maybe we'll see some players trying to go for that tonight as well. I'm sure these players are aware of that Ezreal build, but as you said, of course, as well, he could just be used as that item carrier to, you know, put maybe Shivs on an Ashe or IEs on that Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, we may see it if someone high rolls the mid-game composition with a lot of the Glacials and just maybe sets up to like, hey, might be able to find a tier 3 of this unit, or might just have enough of these units that my comp's looking really strong. I think it'll be one of those builds that players kind of fall into when it looks really good instead of something that people are trying to force.
Yeah, probably so. Take a look. Yeah, there's Ezreal's on both sides here. We got Pipa versus Soulless here. I'm curious as to how Soulless approaches this patch. You know, obviously Soulless is very well known for, you know, set 1 being rank 1 for a very long time, you know, pioneering that demon comp. But, you know, this is set 2. We haven't seen Soulless at the very top end of leaderboards in a little bit, but obviously still a very good player. So I'm curious to see how he specifically adapts to this set and this patch.
Yeah, right now, starting out with those early glacials and electrics, like we've talked about, a couple of players are actually running this for very early on, and definitely a very strong composition. Soul's going to end up losing that round, but he's in the middle of the pack in HP, been able to hold on quite a bit, and he's at 40 gold on Khroen, so not too bad. A lot of econ here.
Yeah, level 5 as well there. He actually opted to level that round. You know, it gives you better shops on the next round, and just kind of solidifies if you're worried that you might lose to Khroen. You know, going to 5 always makes it safe. I'm sure even at level 4, Soulless would not have lost to Khroen, but it solidifies it. So that's interesting. We rarely ever see completed items dropped anymore. The chance of that is so extremely low, and if you're Soulless, looking at that drop, I wouldn't be too happy.
I don't think you wanted that.
No, I would definitely rather it having that tier. Honestly, even if it was just a tier and no vest there to make that static shiv on the Ezreal, he already has a Last Whisper, which kind of, not kind of, it does pretty much signal that you want to go Twitch there. There's not too many other champions that utilize Last Whisper as well as he does. But has the Frozen Heart now, and it's not going to be terrible. You know, it gives your front line a bit of tankiness, a bit of mana to generate their ult cast that ult faster. But we'll see how that how Souless adapts to that Frozen Heart.
Yeah, I mean, the Volibear was in the middle of the entire enemy team for a second there. Get a
until he died.
Good amount of attack speed slow, but then also died pretty much immediately, so not generating a whole ton of value, but obviously not going to be the item he's going to want. I don't think we would ever see Soulless build a Frozen Heart, so definitely not going to be as happy about that item dropping.
Yeah.
Doesn't even necessarily give an early game spike. It might help, yeah, in the later on if he's got a very tanky unit that he can stick that on. But
yeah, definitely. Looking at Deisik here, who is the winner of last week, already going for Rangers at level 6, even has a Diana in at the front line to kind of give a little bit of tankiness to where he wouldn't have it otherwise, because, you know, 4 Rangers, that's a lot of backline right now. I wonder if that front line is actually going to be enough here.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, the Diana just immediately abandons the backline, being an assassin, jumping straight into the backline. Warwick not really able to hang on for too long, so it just comes down to a damage race. But this is a tier 2 Yasuo, and it's just ripping through the backline of all of these Rangers. The Glacial Stun going to come out, but that's not going to be enough here. As one more last breath, and Deisik's going to lose that round. But the composition actually did a little bit better than I expected, and I think if he can just find a couple of upgrades here and maybe find a slightly beefier front line, maybe replace that Diana, could be in a pretty good shape going forward. And of course, we know Rangers is quite powerful late game, so he's just transitioning pretty early, and if he can maintain his HP, it looks pretty good for him.
Yeah, even though he took that loss there, you know, he's still at the top of this lobby here at 93. There is Jinxed right below at 90 and on a win streak as well. But yeah, as you said, Diana not really serving as a great front line. It is giving 3 Inferno buff right now, which is pretty good in terms of the damage, but you already have 4 Rangers, so definitely I would say frontline is more value than the extra damage here. But yeah, until the last round he was on 100, so definitely doing some things right here. But we do see Jinx on that win streak here. The Varus 2 with a locket. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, End has a Kha'Zix in with an Infinity Edge, and we're going to see that kind of tear apart the backline for a second here.
Oh yeah, Annie
really
as well.
Big damage. Yeah, like you said, the Annie. I mean, there's a front line for you, right? If you need a front line, just slap an Annie in there, and you can pit all the damage you want behind it. Tibbers will tank everything up. So Jinx looking incredibly strong right now with his composition. A couple just really high value strong units here for the mid game. Those can fall off rather quickly if he doesn't find the tier 2s, but of course, going to be great for now.
Yeah, definitely. As we mentioned earlier with Pipa's playstyle, Pipa is bottom of the pack right now, 56 HP, tied with Cayrub. opts to take the 1 gold rod. I would assume he's going to be making umbrellas with that, as Pipa generally does. Slaps that singed in later. Opted to take a 1 cost unit over any other ones, even though there are 4 cost units on this carousel. So definitely wanted that item specifically. Do want to, I guess, not check back in with Pipa quite yet. I am really curious about Pipa on round 4-3. That's generally his roll down turn, if not earlier. But yeah, I'm curious to check in with Narkez as well, because we haven't seen Narkez here before. We did check out a little bit of Souless earlier already, but yeah, I'm curious as to how that is, or how he's doing here. Deisik did decide to level up to 7, is rolling down a little bit. Narkez not leveling to 7 here. I think that was a roll down on 6 that Narkez did, because round 3-5 he's only at 29 gold right now. Middle of the pack here has a 2-win streak, is probably going to go berserkers here. At least is what it looks like. Those items are going to be very Olaf looking with the Hand of Justice and the Guardian Angel.
Yeah, does very much so look berserkers. Just one side note, Deisik we did see pick up that Twitch for his 4 Ranger composition that he already has, so that's something we're going to want to keep our eyes on. But Narkez going through and fighting off with these berserkers early on, but that's a big redemption from Pipa, and actually that redemption got so much value that it's going to win the round for him. So Pipa going to stabilize a little bit of HP already, and generally we see him drop even lower before that starts to happen. So I think if you're Pipa, you really actually like to see that. You might be able to greed out a couple more rounds before you have to full roll down. And it's definitely looking good for him, not even being at the bottom of the pack where we so commonly see him.
Yeah, I mean, unless he was valuing his loss streak if he was on one, that additional gold, but generally saving HP is going to be pretty worth it, especially if you're people, dropping to that 30 or 20 HP by the time you're actually rolling down. Speaking of money here, though, saving money, Jinx is doing the opposite of that, has nearly 0 gold, but a 6 win streak, though.
Yeah,
so
Jinx
seems to be working out.
Hates money, but he does have a lot of really strong tier 2 units, and we did talk about his comp briefly. He has a lot of very high value units in this mid game. He's got the Annie, he's got the Kha'Zix, and he has a couple tier 2 units that'll scale him into the late game with this Varus and the Kindred, as well as being on an Azir, looking for that tier 2, of course, to potentially be his carry. Does have the makings of a couple Sums, couple Infernos. Not sure exactly which direction he'll want to go, but already has a couple ways that he can turn this comp depending on what he finds.
Yeah, it's actually very, very interesting. Jinx's comp here, he has sort of elements of a lot of different things. It just kind of depends on what he hits during his roll down, right? He has Kha'Zix and Azir, which you generally see in some sins. He's also holding the Karma on the bench there with the Janna, to get Mystics in if needed. He's scouting right now, sees a lot of Berserkers and Rangers though, so maybe not going to value those Mystics as much. Even a Pred player there as well. But yeah, there's just so many directions that he can go. He has some universal items, I suppose, like Zephyr you can throw in any comp. Locket is probably like a more like Shadow Inferno item. Finds a Yeet as well, so maybe he does decide to go to that, check in with Pipa, and yeah, he's just actually already dumping the gold towards leveling to 8. Will he make another Quicksilver, though? Not sure.
He's thinking about it. We are approaching the Pipa round, too, so we might want to keep our eyes here. I believe you said 4-3 was the Pipa round?
4-3
that's
is
the one
the
where
Pipa
we see what he decides to do for the rest of the game. And we actually had a couple times in the previous game where he would roll down on around 4-3 and then not lose again until pretty much the end of the game. So definitely looking to see what he ends up doing shortly here. But this redemption not getting as much value this time around. Maybe that was actually an enemy redemption I saw proc there. And so this is his instead. Does heal up his Renekton and keeps him alive a little bit longer. Ezreal going to try and finish everything off. But on the other side, we've got Cayrub with the Ginsus on the Ezreal.
Maybe some Glacials here.
The freeze.
Win. Wow.
Ezreal popping off, getting in one more freeze proc there after the Mystic shot, sniping him down. And Pipa gonna steal another round. He's not really in the business of winning rounds at this point, but he keeps grabbing a couple, saving a lot of HP, and might greed out for essentially a later Pipa round than expected.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe so. Pipa with a little bit of a grin on his face after that round. Probably, as we talked about, used to losing those. But that Renekton, I believe, did over 4,000 damage, was the #1 damage dealer during that fight. Has the Ionic Spark, is getting a lot of those Call the Meeks off. Cannot be disabled because that QSS. Facing Sphinx here, who has a pretty strong pred composition here, though. Might be enough to take this Renekton out.
Yeah, that Kog'Maw is quite scary in the back. Tier 2 only, but does have that Ludens, well, double Ludens. Pretty much just rips apart Pipa's comp. He's going to take a good little bit of damage here. Pred comps generally do a little bit less than other comps, but there's a little bit of Berserkers and Glacials mixed into this one.
Yeah, that 4 Glacial there with Sphinx actually very, very interesting. A lot of units on the bench there too, but this is the Pipa round. What's he gonna do? He's thinking.
Ezreal. He could decide to grab that.
Yeah. Does decide to make it actually. Is he? No, he still is leveling and rolling.
Yeah, I almost thought that might signify him greeting out a little bit longer, but he did lose quite a bit of HP there. Well, the Pipa round found the Pipa character. Getting his Zed's gonna lose a little bit of gold selling that Ezreal, but I don't think he's too upset about that one.
What a roll. That is so good for Pipa.
You can see it on his face, too. The second he rolled that down, he was laughing. He knows he's probably in a pretty good position for this game. Kind of greased this round a little bit and still actually wins it, I think.
That's so good for Pipa. Wow, getting never punished there, finding 2 Zeds. Just needs to find one more, and that is going to be most likely a Pipa top 4, if not top 3 here.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again with Pipa. We get to the Pipa round, 4-3, rolls it down, finds a Zed, finds something that he needs, throws it in, and... well, there you go. He's going to start winning, and we'll just keep our eyes on that win streak counter for Pipa and see how high it ticks up before he finally loses one. Because that's generally how it goes. He hits the Pipa round, and we don't see him lose for quite a while.
Man, his comp looks so scuffed right now just looking at this board, but he still made it work just off of the power of those 3 electrics and that Zed. I'm curious as to where these items on the bench. Yeah, he's 2 items on the bench too.
Yeah, he's keeping the Zed on the Cloud Hex, I think, and not putting in the Quicksilver quite yet. We'll see if he decides to shift that up a little bit here.
I think so.
Finds a Steel Lux.
Oh yeah, there's another Quicksilver. No, probably not. 2 Oceans, that's pretty good. Is he rolling down even more, though? Maybe he's satisfied with the 4 Wardens frontline. It's just, where did he delegate these items to? Maybe a QSS on the Malphite? A QSS on the Karma, QSS on the Zed. I guess the Ionic is going to the Malphite. Yeah,
really went on somebody, right? Yeah, it's gonna go on the Malphite.
Oh man, these electric procs.
Now we're just watching these Zeds, but I mean they have pretty much perfect items there, and they're gonna keep healing themselves up with these redemptions and surviving with the GAs. But it looks like maybe this was enough here for Narkez. Yeah, he does have that Berserker, that Olaf with quite a few items here, still on tier 1, but it was enough to beat Pipa. So generally not used to seeing Pipa lose so early after getting his upgrades. Could spell disaster for him if he can't find a little bit more, being at 29 HP, already quite low. Does find his running man.
Yeah.
May decide to pick that one up.
I think, yeah, does decide to. Sells off that Malphite. Does he put the running man in right now, though? He doesn't have a Morello's, which he usually does at this point. Instead has a loose bow and a loose rod. Obviously, rod is half the Morello's, but he needs to get it from Raptors if he's to keep that Singe.
Yeah, he's going up against Soulless here, who we see running those Glacial Electric and some Berserkers. And it looks like that's been the composition Pipa's struggling with his own Electric. And it doesn't seem like the Zeds can break through such beefy boys. He might. Well, I may have spoken too soon. Can't be disabled. Gonna finally go down. The Nami not gonna quite have enough damage as that tidal wave barely doesn't take down 2 units. And for Pipa, that really sucks that those 2 didn't go down, because that's an extra like 6 or 7 damage that he's taking to his face.
Yeah, I think if that Ionic Spark was in play that round, Pipa may have won. Unfortunate that the Zed didn't get an extra electric proc at the end there. You know, it was like the 3 or 4 autos where that didn't proc and he lost. Jumping down to dangerous territory, even for Pipa right now, 19. If he takes one really bad loss, he could be out. Probably won't take that big of a loss, but we will see exactly how he stabilizes after this round, be it with a Morello's or a Z2 or something. A lot of gold there.
I'm a bit curious as to exactly what he's waiting for with this Ionic Spark.
Ooh, Nico, there we go. It hits,
oh my god.
Holy.
That's disgusting.
What was that roll?
That is disgusting.
Does
he finds the Z2, but he can also make a Singe 2 or an Ornn 3.
I don't. Is it going to be the Ornn 3? You can lock it and. Wait, it is. No, it's not.
I'm not sure which is better here, because he doesn't have the items for the Singed yet. But those items are probably good enough, right?
They are. And
you just hopefully find that Ornn 3 later on. I think the oh my god, it's disgusting. Pipa!
I feel gross watching this for all these other competitors here. I mean, technically, yes, it is. Man, Pipa actually is a delight to watch. Either it goes so disgustingly well or just tragically bad. There pretty much is no in between when it comes to Pipa. I was actually curious that he didn't sell Ornn a few rounds ago to make Econ, and I guess this is why he is committing to the Ornn 3, is rolling down every single turn, either trying to hit Ornn 3 or Karma 2 or Volley 2. There's the Karma. I'm gonna end up locking for it. Karma? He was committing to that Ornn 3. He doesn't want to sell those Orns right now. He's come this far with it. We better see an Ornn 3. Yeah.
You gotta see the golden boys, you know, get them out there.
Man, facing Sphinx.
Probably.
I think.
Oh my god!
I don't expect to lose to
this. I know what I'm doing.
We gotta watch the Kog'Maw, but I mean, look at the Zed, dude. It's not even taking any damage yet. It finally starts to fall down, but there's the redemption coming out, and there's a couple clones already with the GAs. Like, look at him just cheesing in the corner. I mean,
let's just check back with Pipa in like 10 rounds and see, where he's at in the top 4. Because
he's so cheeky, you know? How are you gonna roll like that and smirk on your opponents? Come on.
How's he gonna do it to him like that? Checking in with Soulless, one of our Berserker players here, rolling for hits the Scion too. Pretty good. Scion, a very good unit, regardless of the nerf. Does still have the Ornn in, running 3 electrics. Some players will decide to either run Poison or Desert, depending on the lobby, but Electrics is a lot of damage. Gonna be moving at Olaf as to not get Zephyr himself.
Yeah, trying to dodge a Zephyr there, and he's going up against another beefy boy comp. Oh my god.
The electric procs here.
So explosive. The mutually assured destruction of electrics all jumping on top of each other. But Soulless is going to not come out ahead. Narkez, in fact, will with his Berserkers, his beefy lads going in with all that electric. I think, I may be wrong, but that looked like an electric Lux on the side of Narkez, which is a bit disgusting and probably the reason he was able to take that round over Soulless.
Yeah, it turns out 4 electrics is better than 3 electrics right there. Definitely a factor in winning that. Soulless does take a Deathblade there, which is definitely going to be that last Olaf item, as Olaf only had 2 items during that fight there. This HP is pretty low with a lot of people, sub 20 HP for 5 players here, and Narkez and Deisik at that 20 to 30 HP, and Nature's actually our lobby leader with only 39 though. We're going to see people dropping like flies very, very soon.
Yeah, we're not expecting this game to actually last much longer. It's probably going to be one of those ones where the first one drops and then everyone else drops as well, as we check in with Naturesbf, as he is currently the HP leader in the lobby. scouting around, looking at Jinx, looking at Jinx here, he's got quite the powerful comp. This has kind of rounded itself out. He's found the upgrades that he needs. It does have the tier 2 Azir as well as the tier 2 Kha'Zix and a tier 2 Yorick, which we've seen a fair bit less of, but of course still an incredibly powerful unit.
Yeah, of course, facing Deisik here. Double Zephyrs in the front line. That's a pretty good start to this.
Yeah, going to get that Kindred immediately into the back line with its 3 items. Definitely taking down most of Deisik's carries here already. And Deisik's going to take a hell of a lot of damage from Naturesbf here, dropping him down to single digits at 9. Jinxed actually falls, so does Cayrub.
Wow.
So we already starting to see our first casualties of the game, and Sphinx down on 1 HP.
Yeah, man, that was
meanwhile,
crazy.
Pipa, hasn't lost in a little while, as to be expected.
Yeah, I know. He's still got, a few more odds. We need to check in on him. I don't think he's going to be losing. I mean, he might. These players are starting to be very, very strong here. His composition. That double Zephyr last fight is a huge factor why you won that. Negating the enemy's front line so your Kindred can just start slapping those backliners instantly is so, so good. Looking to be doing the same thing this fight as well, but Sphinx does have a few more than a couple of frontliners here, though.
Yeah, Sphinx this time around. The Kog'Maw still not tier 3'd in the back. Of course, Sphinx not even going for that anymore, but the Kog'Maw going to be knocking down quite a few units already. Naturesbf actually may be in trouble in this fight. I thought he would have it handedly, but no. The Ashe and the Kog'Maw in the back just providing so much damage, and Sphinx actually has such a tanky front line that Naturesbf couldn't get through it, and he's going to take quite a bit of damage there. So Sphinx surviving on 1, and Pipa going to take the mantle of HP leader in this lobby with his tier 2 Zed and tier 2 Singed that he had quite a few rounds ago.
Yep, Deisik actually falling this round, or that last round rather. 2 rounds ago, he was like 29 HP, second place, but then all of a sudden, 2 rounds, he takes 20 HP, then takes the 9 to kind of finish him there. Unfortunately, Deisik was very, very consistent last week, but not a good start here. Pipa getting another Nico's here. If he wants to earn 3, there it is, right there. Man, it just never stops with Pipa. He's 3, 2, 1. No, I wanted it.
1.
Okay, 1. It got there. It got there.
There was a blood there. For good measure.
Yep, exactly. Stole the words out of my mouth there. Oh man, Soulless finding another tier 2 Olaf there, as we see on the side. Nature's finding tier 2 Vigar. I think Nature's might be going the route of 6 Shadows, as Nature's took a very hefty hit last turn because the Skarner tanked pretty much forever, and we'll see what the Skarner is able to do this round as well from Sphinx.
Yeah, we'll see if he can stand up to Pipa as the Zed gets in the back line, as well as the Singed trying to take it down as the Kog'Maw, but still just hitting the Singed and not finishing him off as Zed just melts everybody on his team, and that's probably going to do it for Sphinx here, as he unfortunately finds himself facing off against Pipa on the other side of his board, and Sphinx going to fall just before Soulless, who Soulless will finish in 4th, making it to top 4 in this first round. Narkez and Naturesbf alongside Pipa making up our top 3 of the first lobby, but Pipa definitely seems to have a commanding lead, with maybe Narkez being able to challenge him with the 6 Berserkers. Does take out a couple electrics though.
Yeah, that was an interesting play there with Narkez. Is going to put that Lux back in, but wanted to put in Desert there to make sure that armor reduction was there. I think someone aggressively leveled. I think Pipa aggressively leveled to 9 to put like a Nasus 1 in that fight. Ooh, that's a really good Zephyr on that Yi though. This is Nature's.
Yeah, Narkez with his electric trying to get all the damage out, blowing up the front line in Naturesbf. We're watching that Yi to see what he can do, but he might get stunned down by the Jax here, gets pushed away by the Janna, not going to be able to be enough. The Yi gets into the back line, starting to melt every single unit, kills off the Olaf. The Ornn, though, going to give him the clap, knocking him down with the Bellows Breath and the Brittle Auto, taking him out. Naturesbf going to lose that round. Narkez barely hanging on to win that one. There's quite a few key moments there that even allowed for that Yi to have that opportunity. And still, Narkez was able to win, which bodes quite poorly for Naturesbf going forward in the rest of this game. But
Oh boy, yeah, definitely. I didn't expect that Ord to win, but there's all these fights are just so explosive in the damage. You know, there's 4 electrics, there's 3 electrics, and then there's shadows as well. Everything just super high damage output here. We see Pipa versus Narkez. Casa, take us through this one.
yeah, Narkez yet again getting all this electric damage in the front line. We look over at Pipa to see what his units can do, but the Zeds in the back line are starting to fall. They do have the Redemptions coming down as well as the GAs proccing, and that's just far too many shadows, and that's probably going to do it for Narkez in this round, but he still should be alive. It's not quite enough to kill him, and yes, it is just 1 HP as Narkez stays to face Pipa one more round, but the Zeds seem to be too much of a problem, and I'm not sure Narkez will be able to handle it.
Yeah, I don't know. Narkez was players not really knowing what they want to grab here. Red buff grabbed from Narkez here. Maybe gonna throw that one on the Sivir or something. Not quite sure there. It does grab a Kha'Zix. So thinking about it, doesn't. Oh no, it does decide to do it. Nope, sells it off right immediately. I just don't think people will lose at this point. Narkez needs to get very lucky, I think, with all the electric procs and having his Olaf survive. But looking at Pipa's comp, it's just so good.
Yeah, I think it's far too good at this point. I am not seeing a world where Narkez wins, but maybe we do see just the absolute craziness of electric getting in and blowing something up before anything too crazy happens from the Zed on the side of Pipa. But we already see the Zed in the back line getting a couple clones off. And one laser going to come across, but not going to come out before Lux falls. So it's all down to Olaf, and he's got the Zeds on top of him trying to take him down. He's not going to be able to lifesteal enough. And this should probably seal the game for Pipa. And we see the Pipa round to victory as he rolls down and finds everything he needs.
Yep.
But to round it out, Narkez getting second place there. Naturesbf finishing in third and Soulless in fourth.
Yeah, what a game. What a game to start things off there. Pipa making our lives real easy, given the excitement, just throwing it at us there. He even got 2 tier 2 Zeds by the end of that one. So if 1 tier 2 Zed wasn't enough, Pipa said, give me another one. 13 points here for Pipa to start things off with. That is not too shabby. Deisik, though, the winner of last week, only 5, but there are 3 more games to go through. We'll be getting into game number 2 very soon. Casa, what are your thoughts on that game? That was an interesting one.
I mean, it's 2 words: high roll.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way to sum that one up. I do agree with you. Those are some good words to describe that game.
I mean, people played it beautifully. That's his win condition, his strategy that he always goes to. But of course, this was one of the biggest high rolls we've seen in recent memory, reminiscent of the Boo Boo high roll and just hitting every single thing that Pipa needs to win this lobby. And so we'll see if he can continue to get such luck, or in general, he's able to top 4 with that strat every time. So we'll see what he can do with it going forward, or if anyone will adapt and try a similar strategy. I mean, for Pipa, it's worked out repeatedly. It worked out all of last week. Didn't quite net him the first place, but still, it's been very consistent. So it'd be interesting to see other players' takes on it.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's either a first or 8th kind of strat, but it's just Pipa is very good at getting first more than he gets 8th with it. We're going into game number 2 here. He's probably going to go the strategy again, as he has for the past 5 games now of Fight Night, between this week and last week as well. It seems to be consistent enough that even if you only hit 1 Zed, that you get at least a top 4. But at that point, when you're win streaking, building up the economy, and continuing to roll down, you're probably going to hit Zed too. So, maybe it's not as just like risky as I originally thought that it was. I mean, we'll see.
Looking a little scuffed this game.
Yeah, 5 people going for that Yasuo with the vest there. Nature's ends up grabbing it. I think Nature's some pretty good carousel mechanics there, clicking really fast.
Poor Soulless getting left behind, not knowing what to grab, ends up with a belt.
Yeah. It seems like it's always, if you get like shafted on that carousel, you get the item, or you don't get the item that everyone's going for, and then people are just quicker to the other items, you're probably usually left with like either a cloak or a belt. And sometimes it's good, maybe you get like a Zephyr or Warmogs or Morellos, and it's like okay, but generally you're going to be stuck with a bunch of items that are very, very awkward. Pipa already slamming that Morelos. The first PvE round hasn't even ended yet, and he slams that one. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it does fit into the general strategy people likes to go. I mean, Morelos, that's checks off one of 4 items that he wants to be building in the game, and then from there, any other item is whatever. He just needs those 4, and I mean, we saw it last game with the Quicksilver, the fastest Quicksilver I think I've ever seen built, putting it on the Renekton the second he had the items for it. So it very much, I don't think Pipa considers other items. I think there's only actually 4 items in the game if you're Pipa.
He didn't even get one of them. He didn't even have Morelos that whole last game, I don't believe.
Yeah. But I think only Morelos, GA, Quicksilver, and Redemption exist in the mind of Pipa.
I think so. Gets a vest there. You know, that's a component of GA.
Well,
there,
that's not a vest. That's half a GA.
True, you're right.
In Pipa's mind, there's no chain vest. There's half a GA and the other half of GA.
Pretty much that. You know, going into the mind, or what we suspect to be the mind of Pipa here. Already stacking that Thorn HP. Yeah, the mind of Pipa. Let's, you know, get a little short special about that one. Really going to depth, but no, already sells off that that volley. Wants to put that Morelos into something else. Maybe even keeping it though to put 2 electric in might have been good. I mean, we all know Pipa is okay with taking some HP losses, but yeah, just chilling right now. Has half a Quicksilver there.
Half a Quicksilver as well, yeah. So he's on his way. He's on his way. He's got a lot of the items he likes. He's got half a GA, half a Quicksilver, and he has an entire Morellonomicon. So it's looking quite good for Pipa.
Yep. Might play 3 Infernos there. Not sure. Cayrub here. You know, maybe in the mind of Cayrub, he has a potential, you know, Infinity Edge, maybe. But
right.
GA,
there might be other items that exist for Cayrub. We've seen Cayrub play a lot more strategies. So for Cayrub, that could very well be, you know, he could be going through all the items on the list. You know, he does have a GA there if he wants it.
Yeah,
certainly something you'll consider. Gauntlet. Yeah.
Probably not Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't think the item really exists to like anybody, but
what item?
Yeah, I don't know. I already forgot about it. There's IE or GA there. The other item doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Facing up against Jinxed here is Cayrub, and that is a Diana 2. Probably going to take this round, but there's also a Nico on Jinxed's bench there as well, and is still able to make 10 gold. I think Jinx might have high rolled that PV rounds. Not only does he have nearly a full bench and a Nico and 3 items, but 10 gold as well. So pretty good start there.
Yeah, Jinx sitting pretty. Has pretty much everything he could want for an early game. Let's see how he could transition it later on as well. But right now, Cayrub not sitting on a whole lot of units, a couple pairs, but a lot of gold. Almost to that 20 gold mark.
Yeah, definitely will be after this round one way or another, be it from the victory or from selling a unit. The victory probably not going to be a thing that happens unless somehow Cayrub runs into somebody that is weaker than him, but that will not be the case here. Running into Natures.
Yeah, that's the early Talia with the tier as well as the tier 2 Renekton. Well, tier 2 Talia, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't even close, but we didn't expect it to be. So Cayrub's probably going to sell off that Nasus and make that 20 gold. Naturesbf on 10 gold, quite a few units on the bench.
Yeah, Ezreal, as well as, you know, he does have that Bramble Vest already. Bramble Vest, a very good, very desired item by a lot of players. It makes your front line extremely tanky, and it'll deal damage as well. Cayrub putting in that extra Diana, probably going to go for 30 gold here. That's randomly 6 Dianas for Jinxed here. Has a Nico. I don't believe we're going to see a Diana 3.
You gotta commit. you probably don't have to commit, but
it's, you know, is a strong word for it. But
you know, tier 3 Diana. I'm not sure if we've seen one of those in quite a while. I do vaguely remember one very early in set 2 that we did see a tier 2 Diana.
It's probably
or tier 3
Woodland.
Diana.
Yeah, Woodland Druid hyper rolling, I believe, is when people went to Dianas. But yeah, probably not gonna happen for Jinxed here. But still, 6 Dianas are pretty good to win the rounds.
Oh, absolutely. A very strong early game unit still on tier 2. Why not add another tier 2 Diana? And if he hits them, maybe we'll see him keep it, go Infernos or something, but I don't expect him to roll down for it or anything.
Probably not. Jinx, a very quizzical look on his face there, maybe thinking about whether he wants to keep that Thresh pair or not. He is going to decide if he wants to sell off those Narcissus or Threshes in order to make 20 gold here alongside, whatever he decides to sell from this carousel. He does pick last, so maybe not going to get an item of his choosing here, but there are pretty good 3 items here left.
Yeah, Pipa finding a second half of GA. And Jinx picking up a BF sword. So 2 very different items that they've grabbed here, but
extremely different.
See what Jinx does with that one.
Jinx, does opt to sell off 1 Thresh there. Does level up as well. Puts in some wardens here one way or another. Okay, that is going to be an IE already committed. So these are looking like some ranger items here for Jinx. Has a Nico if he wants to hit a tier 2, be it Ashe or Twitch, depending on his rolldowns later on. Does decide to play the Thresh for now, though, as it will be a bit stronger than that Nasus, both being at tier 1, no items.
Yeah, how are those items for a tier 3 Diana?
Not very good, I think, actually, strangely enough. Pretty good for now, but not really good in that long run. There is a Kog'Maw with Eludens here on the side of, who is that? Can't see the name. I think that is Deisik. Yeah. So Deisik also 100 HP here. We'll see which player remains 100 HP and which one falls here. Looks like it'll be Jinxed, remaining at 100 though.
Yeah, it looks like the Dianas are a little bit too much for Deisik to handle here. His Kog'Maw doing its very best in the backline, but of course, having 2 Dianas hitting it, not going to be able to do quite enough. Cayrub we see at the bottom HP, followed by Soulless.
Yeah.
Sphinx. The whole lobby's pretty close, though. Just a couple in the 80s and then a few in the 90s in the top 4.
Yeah.
Of course, Jinxed going to be at 100 HP for a good little bit here.
I think so. But yeah, that 10 or 11 HP differential between that bottom 4 and the top 4, the bottom 4 all within 2 HP of each other. Very interesting here. As we kind of see who the strong players in our lobby are. With Naturesbf, Pipa actually, and Jinx. Usually we see Pipa at the bottom of the HPs at this stage of the game, but sitting at second here. I'm going to check in to see what he has, at least on the Khroen. Oh no, we can just see it.
We're going to see
actually.
It right now. Look at us go.
Oh,
tier
also
2,
Diana.
Vlad, tier 2 Diana, has 2 of the very important Pipa items on the Diana right now.
Yep, and half of a Quicksilver as well on that Vlad. The Vlad is no more, of course, but Diana, I guess that's why Pipa has preserved some HP here. Not going to continue to preserve HP, unfortunately, as Jinx's Dianas are better than his own. But,
2 Dianas better than 1.
Yeah.
We're figuring out here. Pipa going to lose a little bit of HP, but still Pipa quite healthy this game. I actually did not check on how much gold he was at. If you had a chance to see that, Khroen, but
that 30. It was at 30ish gold last turn because he's 40ish now.
We're on Pipa.
We are. We are indeed on Pipa now. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
How did we get here?
I don't even know how we got here. It's movie magic. We're on Pipa's point of view. So he is at the 40 gold now, and we're not even close to Pipa round actually. So for now, he's just gonna keep on keeping on with as much gold as he can. See if he can get up to 50 gold on Khroen round, of course.
Can make up to 50 right here. Needs to sell 1 more unit though. Doesn't want to sell the Ezreal. What does he sell? Nasus pair maybe? Just doesn't sell at all. Wow. Does he pre-level them?
Real Bean, 5 subs.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Neither.
Okay,
Decides against it for now. Gonna go up to 50 gold now. Just miss out on 1 gold.
He's rolling right now. This man is rolling.
What is he rolling for?
I guess he just wants to find the Nasus, the Orns, like stuff like that. Is he rolling again even? He's transitioning his whole composition. Pipa has such a big brain. I just can't keep up with it actually. What?
What's even in right now? Is it Karma?
Okay.
Lunar
Warden. Okay, apparently Ionic Spark is also a Pipa item as well. But I think I understand the genius now. Pipa really wanted to hit the Orange or Nectins or Nasus to have an item carrier that is good with those items right now. That Nasus will be very, very strong in terms of, you know, just winning these early rounds. It might even win this as well, but the Glacial's maybe a bit too strong.
If he gets one more ult, not quite. We see a very horrifying Pipa face on Lollipoppy blocking out what was happening in the action there, but
yeah,
unfortunately not able to win that round. Gonna have nightmares tonight, but
if he had leveled and put Ezreal in, he definitely would have won that round. Pipa at 83 right now, but I think actually Pipa will win the next few rounds as long as he doesn't run into somebody who's rolling it all down on 3-2 to be strong. Soulless here though has a
Quicksilver Warwick as his item carrier here.
I think Warwick's pretty good early game, you know, does have those glacials as well. Doesn't have a Braum yet, so doesn't have 4 glacial, but 2 is still a lot of damage right now in the early game.
Yeah, we see him trying to push through with those infinite duress, but the Kog'Maw gonna be finishing off most of Souless's comp here, if not the rest of it. Deisik gonna win that round.
Yeah, Nico too as well. A couple Ezreals there for Deisik. Deisik in a pretty good spot here at the top of, not the exact top, but the top end of the lobby. Only 1 HP behind Jinxed here. But Soulless level 6 on 3-2 with 50 gold left. Soulless econing pretty well. You know, 68 HP, but I'm sure he's not too sad about it, given the amount of gold that he has. Probably will go 7 next turn and roll down a little bit. Maybe he wants to go Rangers, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. It looked like he was going Rangers last game too. Ended up with that glacial
Berserker
electric Berserker composition. We could see him go the same route here. I mean, he does have the makings of it, the start of it. You mentioned the items are looking less good for that sort of composition, but
yeah, I guess you're not like too unhappy with putting a Rage Blade on Olaf. I don't think it's one of the items that you're like, you know, wanting to go for, but it can suffice. It can be okay. We see the Warwick here, not a great item holder for those though. He's not really getting that much value, as Jinx's Dianas are still going to town. Has a Twitch as well, actually. Throws that one in.
Yeah, we did miss that Jinx actually did lose a round earlier on, but it seemed to have been a one-off. He's still quite strong. Deisik actually is win streaking now at 92 HP. I don't think he's lost since he actually lost to Jinx.
Maybe it was actually a Deisik who took out Jinx there.
Yeah, it could have been a run back of that matchup, and Deisik is a bit stronger now.
That is an Olaf with a bow here. If you're going Berserkers, that's pretty much the best case scenario to get on this carousel here. So I want to check in with Narkez soon and see if he actually wants to stick with that Olaf or is just getting it for the bow there. We will see momentarily here. We see Deisik and Jinx deciding what items to take.
As long as a bow is good for him, it could be a great denial as well. But
already an Olaf there on the bench.
Yeah, that doesn't look like much of a denial if I'm looking at his bench. I think looking for his own Olaf. I mean, we did see Narkez run this composition last time with the Olaf. Different from what he has on the board, but he did run the Berserker Electric Glacial composition. So, and he's already got some items for it. That's a Hand of Justice. There.
Yeah. Oh man, his bench here is looking a little interesting.
A lot of money.
Yeah, he rolled down a lot of gold and picked up a lot of units. Okay, does decide to make some changes here. Does he put in 3 Berserkers? He does not. A Hand of Justice is going to go on the Olaf, though, as well as the Last Whisper, perhaps?
Olaf getting the mountain buff as well here. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a best case scenario for Narkez going into this fight, and we'll see if that is enough as this Olaf starts to rip through the composition of Cayrub, kind of working his way across. There's a Senna in the back, who we did talk about as being the most OP unit in the game after the 5 damage buff. I know Mortdog was a little bit concerned that his 5 damage buff had gone a little bit too far, and seems that it's calmed down a little bit, but was looking quite powerful last week.
Yeah, maybe it was like a shadow buff of more than 5 damage. I don't know. You know, we don't see Senna that much in this tonight yet. Maybe we'll see some a bit later, but yeah, no. Just the 5 damage buff. Senna probably not broken, but gonna be pretty solid if you are going a composition that requires her. Check in with Deisik here as he scouts the whole lobby. Deisik, very, very good player, wants to stay aware of where to place his units away from those Zephyrs. Isn't running Predators anymore, actually. Took those out in favor of the Ezreal 2 and Braum 2. And another Kog'Maw 2, actually. There's a lot of options Deisik can go from here. Deisik's level 7 with 40 gold here. His win streak's actually like pretty insane. And gold generation here.
Yeah, I mean, these tier 2 Kog'Maws as well are just pumping out plenty of damage. The Neeko, tier 2 Neeko early game is such a monster, even without items. And it's looking really good for Deisik. I mean, he's on quite a few Preds as well. He could get towards his tier 3 Preds. He is close enough on a couple.
Yeah, man, he's 6 Kog'Maws, and he's probably highest level with the most gold in the game. You usually don't see that in terms of Predator players. I mean, Deisik, I'm not calling him a Predator player right now, as he only has 2 Kog'Maws in play right now, but even still, has a Neeko, could go that route. Already committed to a Luden, so it's probably on his mind. Has not chosen to slam a Zephyr or a Runettes or anything else of the sort here. But I am curious to see the direction that he goes around, around 4-3. Does he roll now for the Kog'Maws, which he probably won't find? Probably not. I think he's going to choose to level up soon. Unless he does want to roll down for something else.
It's really interesting because it almost seems like he's just going to splash Predators. Like he's going to run a normal composition and just kind of tech in the 3 Preds for the Kog'Maw to carry. So we may see like a glacial composition. He could transition into some like glacial electrics later with just 3 Predators in for an extra carry in the backline. It's hard to say. I mean, it's very difficult to see exactly where he's going with this line, but it very much seems like the composition is just, I'm going to throw in these 3 Preds because I have this strong Kog'Maw. The other 2 units aren't going to be much of anything, and I'm just going to grab maybe a strong composition around it. This is pretty unfortunate, though, running into 3 Assassins going to take out his Kog'Maw immediately. He's got 1 extra on the board, but it gets knocked up by Malphite, and it's got no items. So definitely looks like this round will go to Cayrub. Pretty much seemed like a counter composition to Deisik right now. Doesn't work for him.
Yeah, a little bit of a counter there. I'm curious as to why Deisik decided to play 2 Kog'Maws over having that woodland buff. The copy of the Neeko we saw during the previous round, like 3-7, was huge in terms of winning that round. But no, Deisik 4-1 decides to level up, put Preds in, but decides to have 2 Cogs in over the woodlands here. So does not preserve his win streak. Does want to protect the Kog'Maw now, though, even more after that last round. Putting him in the center so the assassins will not instantly get onto him. There we go. Okay.
Swaps back to woodlands.
Maybe forgot about that a little bit there.
Maybe maybe he had the idea that 2 Kog'Maws getting the extra Predator chances for the procs was going to be better than the woodlands, but after seeing that round felt otherwise, that the woodlands were potentially just better. Does go back to it. And the Kog'Maw in the back with all this front line protecting him should be able to win this round quite handily. Twitch in the back with the rat-a-tat-tap, but it's a tier 1, so we know it's not going to do enough damage. But that's a stun from the Warwick. We're going to start seeing these Predator HP thresholds hit, though. Yeah. And the Kog'Maw is able to win that round for Deisik.
And it was looking a little spooky there, but... Oh, yeah, it's 4-3. Thank you, Jules, for
Jules already knows she's on top of the game here. Pipa round, we're going to Pipa. Here we go.
Crystal Lux rolling right past that one, though. All right, where's the Zed? Is he going to hit the 2 Zeds on a roll here? Waiting for it. Picks up a Taric.
Taric's not a bad roll, but that's not Zed.
Another Taric. Oh, the Orans as well. Okay, Pipa round. He's at 49 HP though, so he has some extra HP to work with here. Pipa round has not been that successful though for him as of right now.
He's gonna go up against Deisik, who I think most people don't want to run into, but Pipa's composition seems to be tanky enough that he might be able to win this. The Kog'Maw has no threat on it though, and it's still alive. It took a little bit of damage at the start, but the fact that it's still kicking is going to be probably too much for Pipa here. Take him down, but that Kog'Maw came pretty close to dying at the start of the round, and if it did, Pipa probably would have won that, but fortunately it does stay up.
Pipa being either first or second pick here. His first pick, there's a Singed, but Going
No
to opt
Zed.
for the belt. Yeah, no Zed, unfortunately. If there was a Zed, it probably would have been snap picked up by Pipa right there.
Well, I mean, you mean he grabbed half a redemption.
He did grab half
Didn't
for
go into
redemption
any
instead,
people
yeah.
Last game, I am not afraid
I don't... Oh, he does have a tier, actually, yeah, on the Braum. I'm pretty
Oh, it was
sure.
the other half of a redemption.
Yeah, sorry, other half of redemption. I'm not used to thinking
Yeah.
as Pipa thinks here. The mastermind here, the next mastermind since H2, the Zygarde mastermind. Hits that volley 2 right there. Does decide to keep
Glacial
rolling.
Lux rolls past that one. Has quite a few glacials in it. Could have been a consideration, but of course that's not within the realm of Pipa. We have to be thinking like Pipa here, where it's Zed or nothing.
And that's kind of what these items are looking like too. I mean, Zed or Singed or nothing. That's another half a GA on the Ezreal and then half a Quicksilver on the bench there for items. Pipa 39 HP, not the lowest as Souless has taken that mantle here, but running into Jinxed here.
Yeah, the Zephyr onto his carry right now with the Nasus. We do have the Braum taking a lot of punishment with the Unbreakable, but going to get down that redemption. Not going to get any value out of that, though, healing only full health units. But just so much tankiness from the side of Pipa, and the lunar buffs coming out as these rounds take so long.
Yeah.
He's able to take down Jinx, and he's stabilized a little bit here. Looking to, well, stabilize quite a bit, jumping all the way to 4th as far as HP is concerned, but not being able to find the Zed is hurting him quite a bit.
Yeah, that it is choosing to roll down. Mix the Nautilus too. Does have 2 oceans with that there though, so it's pretty good. Yeah, just having that Ezreal in for now. Not gonna keep that in one. Not gonna keep that one in forever. Pipa though, higher HP than I would expected for not hitting either a Singed or a Zed at this point though, is actually 4th place, or I guess tied for 4th place right now. Running into Souless.
Oh, wait, he actually does.
Yeah, Soulless at the bottom probably rolled down all his gold, which it does look like he did. He's got the Azir in the back with the Karma buffing it up. Quite a few items on that one, but I'm not sure if it's going to do enough to get through all the tankiness, but so far it looks like it just might. The redemption in the back line going to try and heal up as many of Souless's units as it can, and barely hanging on in the back was that Azir, so Soulless going to take that round. The roll down was enough to beat Pipa and enough to keep him in the game, as we see Jinx dropping to 18 HP as well, getting below 20. This lobby a little bit more spread out in HP than the last one, but not by much.
Yeah, Souless has taken a Zed away from Pipa. Not what you want to see if you're Pipa, but still some rounds to go as he's still at 31 HP. At least 2 rounds left, probably. Souless here, though, has been bottom of the lobby for a bit, but has stabilized, is going that Summoner Sin composition here. Doesn't have the Yorick in, though, right now, so does not have Summoners. See what he decides to go for here. Probably just rolling for that Kha'Zix 2, seeing as that Yorick was indeed sold off there. Another Zed. Not good for Pipa, but great for Souless.
Yeah, great for Souless. If he can find the 3rd one especially, it would be huge for him trying to turn this around. He doesn't have perfect items for it, but has the redemption. Might be enough to get him through a couple more rounds at least.
Makes a shiv on the Zed? Yeah, I think he's going
Getting that
to.
extra mana to get those shadows out quicker could work out for him.
All right, I think we're getting word that Pipa did indeed hit the Zed, so I'm going to have to check in with him soon to see where that is going. But the Zeds from Souless here doing a lot of work here against Sphinx. Those electric procs, my god, that's a lot of damage. Electric pretty good.
Yeah, looking kind of good. Kind of like the flavor of the week right now for the electrics in this fight night so far. Seeing quite a bit of that. Pipa actually dropping down to 17 HP after finding his Zed. So, okay. Well,
that's classic Pipa for you, right there. It doesn't have any Zeds.
Who else but Pipa? Finds the tier 2. Doesn't have his Quicksilver yet, though.
Man, that is crazy. All right. Well, Zed2, check back in with him in a few rounds. Narkez on a win streak here. Curious to see what he is doing there. NaturesBF, though, we see with that Ezreal with 3 really good items. No Shiv, but the other 2 very, very strong, I think.
Yeah, you're talking about potentially an Ezreal carry coming out, and it looks like this might be that from NaturesBF. The Ezreal trying to pump out as much damage as he can, but he's getting stun locked right now by the Unstoppable Force and the Tidal Wave, and now the Zeds are getting into the back line, pumping out all that damage with the Electric, and it's going to be a little bit too much for NaturesBF. He's going to take a good amount of damage from Pipa, and Pipa, of course, has stabilized with his Tier 2 Zed. And we'll see if he can make it all the way back up to top 4 as we see Soulless trying to not just be top 8 right now with his 3 HP remaining. Could go out at any time now.
Yeah, very, very scary to be in this position if you are Soulless. Soulless had found a Zed before Pipa, but Pipa found 3 before Soulless has found the 3rd. Unfortunately for Soulless here. Composition still pretty decent, though. Oh, man, that's a lot of units on the side of Jinx there. Has a Force of Nature in.
Yeah, we do see Jinxed has quite a few. Has that Lux in the corner. I believe that is Electric Lux again. Doing so much. Actually, I could not tell for sure.
I think it was Cloud.
Is it Cloud? It's hard to tell sometimes when they're far away, but we do have, it looks like losing that round. Soulless going to hang on with 3 HP. Jinx dropping down to 7. NaturesBF at 9. A couple people in that single digits as Cayrub at 12, as well as Pipa at 17. HP numbers getting very, very low. Soulless kind of deciding what he wants to grab. Picks up the Yi with the Hush.
Yeah, I think you're just looking for a Zed item there. I believe we're going to see this Hush go onto the Zed. It was either that or like the Ionic Spark, I suppose. Maybe there's a world where Soulless could have grabbed the Assassin Spatula to get 3 Assassins and 3 Summoners in. But that Kiana and Kha'Zix are both pretty strong in their own right as well. Gonna see if he's able to keep hanging on here. Sells that. Yeah, not sure. It needs to find the Zed in this role and does not. That's a
one more round.
Deisik, actually. So Deisik has eventually found that. 21 HP. Yeah, the HP is so close in this lobby. I feel like we get to this point a lot. These lobbies are so competitive, so neck and neck between everybody here.
Yeah, the more fight nights we've had, the more times this is starting to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, in back-to-back weeks, like we're just having this happen every time now, as we do see Soulless run into that freshly minted Kog'Maw 3, trying to deal as much damage as it can. Takes down the Zed already, but there's a Zed clone available to try and continue his legacy as the Kiana gets onto the Kog'Maw in the back, and Soulless is going to stay alive, dropping down Deisik to 10, but Pipa to 1, and NaturesBF falls in 8th.
Man, Pipa fell... Or not fell, but I lost that round with the Zed too. Curious to see who he lost to there. But yeah, this lobby is so close. It feels so bad to get 8th in this scenario. Unfortunately for Natures, like he was pretty strong there until he wasn't anymore. Deisik getting that Singe too with the poison in. Still has a Braum, has a few Glacials in. Can he keep this up though? Can Kog'Maw carry?
Yeah, I mean, Deisik going up against Narkez, who does have this Berserker composition once again. We see a disarm item onto the Kog'Maw, stopping him from swinging right now, but finally he's going to go off yet again as the Olaf gets into the back line on top of him, and Kog'Maw's not doing enough damage to take him down, but the rest of the team has collapsed, and now it's Olaf versus the world, but he's just sustaining far too much as he takes everything down, and Deisik going to live on 2 HP.
Man, 2 more people fall that round. Jinxed and Sphinx both fall that round. A little bit of rhyming there, actually. Didn't notice that one. But yeah, Pipa on 1, Deisik on 2, and Soulless on 3 HP right now. This game, I feel like I say it, almost everyone has accelerated to the point where there are multiple people dropping during every single round here. Rageblade available from this dragon.
Yeah, it's every single time we hit the apex where the first person falls, and from there it's like a bunch of dominoes falling one after another. And we're going to see Pipa, Soulless, and Deisik are the next few dominoes in line, and they're doing their best to get the domino out of the way before it falls. But right now they're against Cayrub and Narkez with the heavy HP advantages. However, Cayrub could still die from where he's at, and Narkez is still very close. He's only got about 2 rounds left, unless he's very lucky.
Yeah, you said heavy HP advantages, and you're not wrong. It just turns out that 12, from Cayrub is still in lethal range. Narkez technically could still die in one hit as well, but probably will be safe enough for 2 hits. We see Deisik facing the clone of Pipa,
I believe.
Yeah, but still lethal if he loses.
Yeah, it is quite terrifying to see if you're Deisik, but he does have the Kog'Maw in the back getting onto the Zed and proccing the Predator. It might be enough as long as he can get him back down after the respawn, and he does. So that should be enough for Deisik to hang on a little bit longer as we see Soulless fall to the wayside, but Pipa wins his round. Pipa hanging on and 1, gonna top 4 with this Zed once again as Soulless falls in 5th. We've got Cayrub and Narkez. Narkez the one falling to Pipa as Cayrub defeated Soulless, so Narkez now also within lethal range. This could be one of the final rounds that we have in this game, this lobby.
Pipa drawing some diagrams with that Zed there.
Trying to avoid a Zephyr, maybe? I don't see a Zephyr. Maybe figuring out where he wants his Zed to jump.
Yeah, I think so. That's Tarek too. On the opposing side,
Narkez looks really scary with all these glacials and electrics, and there's a Tarek in the middle to try and protect all of them, but the Tarek goes down. The Tarek falling could be very important here as Pipa's Zed is still alive, trying to take down the rest of these Berserkers. The Olaf procs into the GA as the Zeds are popping off, all surviving right now as they surround the Olaf, but the Olaf procs the Zed into the GA state, and now it's a 1v1 as another Shadow comes out trying to avoid him, but no, Pipa gonna fall to Narkez's Olaf here, and we also see Deisik falling in 4th, so Pipa finishes 3rd, and now it's Cayrub versus Narkez for the first place fight.
Yeah, man, that was such a close fight. I actually thought Pipa was going to win that until the Olaf said, I don't think so. Just slapped those Zeds down into the ground as we have our top 2. Cayrub, a very consistent performer here on Fight Night. Haven't given, too much of a look at him yet. But Narkez as well, one of our new players here, finding himself in a top 2 scenario. We'll see which one is able to get that victory very soon, if not right now.
Yeah, Cayrub versus Narkez. We're going to see Cayrub's bug trying to get in the back line, squishing a caterpillar for himself. But we see the Olaf trying to Ragnarok and roll his way through the entire composition of Cayrub, getting that ultimate from Tarek, keeping him alive. And it looks like that might be it as Narkez takes down the final member of Cayrub's squad. And that's going to do it. 2nd place for Cayrub and a 1st place for Narkez, one of our new faces here at Fight Night Rising.
Yeah, no, that was super, super cool to see a Berserker composition, take it all the way home. Did hit that Singe 2 at the end there, though. It was interesting. Both Singes on the board had a Morello's and an Ionic Spark, but, the tier 2 Singe just a little bit better, but very, very well played that game. And we have Narkez going from a 2nd to a 1st. It is our lobby leader, our newcomer, really showing how strong that he is. This is some really solid performance here. Has even more points than Deisik did at this point last week by 1. We see Pipa in 2nd place, 23 points. And yeah, it's a big jump till we get to Cayrub in 3rd with 16 points, Soulless 14, Naturesbf 13, Sphinx 11, and Jinxed at 7. But man, Narkez and Pipa.
Yeah,
very, very good performances here from those 2 right now.
Yeah, and we're going to see if Narkez and Pipa end up running away with this fight night after we take a very short break, and we'll see you guys when we get back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's Fight Night Rising. We've had a couple of amazing games here tonight, especially from the likes of our new player, Narkez and Pipa. You know, the classic 4-3 hit your stuff, Pipa. He's doing it once again. Casa, man, how have you been enjoying these games?
And they've been great. Mr. 4-3 himself has been popping off, and there looks to be no signs of stopping him yet. This patch really favoring him, and today he's rolling quite well. But Narkez, of course, someone we had not seen before, someone we hadn't heard too much about, coming in and really just showing how good he is against such a strong lobby and being first in one game and second in the other. See if he can carry on this domination through their last 2 rounds of Fight Night tonight.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, all these players, of course, again, fighting for that top 4, specifically that top 3. Top 3 does get invited back, but you know, that first place, $100, not too shabby. And both Narkez and Pipa are in a pretty good spot to be able to secure that if they keep playing well. Narkez, of course, 2 points ahead of Pipa, but you know, there's still a chance for, you know, maybe Cayrub, Soulless, you know, Naturesbf, Deisik, Sphinx, or Jinx. There is 2 games left, so all of them, I think, are still within range potentially. Maybe not Sphinx or Jinx, but they still both could get top 4, if not top 3, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I mean, this lobby is being dominated by Narkez and Pipa, but of course, 2 more to go. Narkez or Pipa could really drop the ball, and we could see someone come back and do exactly what either of them did in the first 2 rounds. Can really flip things on its head, but it is their game to lose now. Have to just keep their lead, keep getting these top 4s, and, well, they'll be able to run away with this Fight Night and come back next week. But be trying to get into lobby shortly.
Yep,
See
going to
what
be
ends up happening there.
going to be very, very soon. But I guess take a moment to talk about some of these compositions. I mean, obviously, Electric, something that's popping up a bunch, not only from Pipa, but other players as well. Some players playing that with the Berserkers, or just, you know, with that Zed, something on everybody's radar. We're seeing much, much less Shadow. Those nerfs have appeared to discourage players away from going to that. But Rangers is something. Have we seen many Rangers get into the top 4? I don't.
So we
think
saw
so.
people playing Rangers.
Yeah, a little bit.
A couple of the Ranger comps actually transitioned into just being like these electric glacial Berserker comps. They started as Rangers and they moved over to that. And generally you would expect maybe the opposite of that in previous patches, where they would start out as a Berserker comp and then they're like, oh, well, I'm falling off as it gets to late game. I have to swap out the Rangers. And it just hasn't been that whatsoever. I think the other Ranger comps that were committed to ended up dropping out bottom 4. So it hasn't been a composition that's done too well. Shadow, compared to last week, is pretty much gone. And we really haven't seen much else in the way of diversity other than just different variations of electric comps, at least making it into the top 4.
Yeah, we haven't seen any Ocean Mages either, I don't think. I mean, it's kind of just a lot of the same. A lot of players playing Zerkers, a lot of Electrics, and people, if they try to run other compositions, it just seems like they go out in the bottom 4, and we don't really get to see too much of them at that point. I mean, Rangers for a while has been a composition where you kind of have to high roll a little bit for it to be very, very strong, or at least have good units to be able to transition with high HP once you do find your Rangers and find the front line for those. Poison synergy has been nerfed a little bit ago, so that was kind of a staple of the you know, Twitch, Ashe, a couple of Wardens, and then your Poisons in there as well. But sometimes people are generally not going Poisons anymore. Because Poisons are, you know, good versus Ocean Mages. It's one of the major ones, but there's no more people playing Ocean Mage, really. So the meta kind of has gotten a lot of just swapped around here. And seeing how these players adapt is indeed very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always have that comp that just gets picked up and it becomes the flavor of the week, as we have coined and we like to say. But it seems as though just electric is that flavor that everyone is keen on right now, because we had shadows before that. We've had weeks where it's lights or weeks where it's ocean mage, or shadow. It was just variations of shadow last week, and this week it's variations of electric. And we'll have to see if someone can find something else that can stand above and beyond as people kind of cannibalize each other going for the same units.
Yeah, definitely going for the same units is, something that was the downfall of, was it Soulless last game? I'm not sure. Somebody had a Zed, I think it was Soulless, and then Pipa randomly found the tier 2 Zed before he was able to find the third one as well. But yeah, just that same concept of everybody's going for that flavor of the month. Only a couple of people can hit that. The others will be pretty doomed. There also has been a lot of glacial during the early to mid game as well. And of course, you keep at least 2 glacial in when you're going berserkers, and we have seen a lot of berserkers. So yeah, it's kind of those 3 things: electrics, berserkers, and glacials, I think, which are coming out on the forefront here.
Yeah.
Sometimes all 3 indeed. I mean, we saw a 4 electric 6 berserker comp with that electric Lux. I believe that was in game number 1. And did that win or get second? It got
it was up there. It was top 2, top 3. It was somewhere in there.
Definitely, but I mean, I don't think there's really going to be that much that players will decide to vary from that right now. I remember Fluffy's comments when we interviewed Fluffy a couple weeks ago, being like, yeah, when lights were the hot, I steered away from lights because I did not want to go those things that other players are going. I just played my own style, played what else was strong, and that was how he won that fight night. That was his reasoning for it. It's just, I guess, depends on if there's anything else that is strong enough to really contest that. Maybe it's like an Ocean Mage, maybe it is Rangers, but we haven't really seen too much else be that thing to contest it, though.
Yeah, and maybe that will be what turns this fight night on its head, because the way things are going, Narkez and Pipa, if we just see repeats of the games that we've already seen, they're just going to run away with this. So if someone can come out with a different composition that they're very comfortable on and it's very strong right now, it may be wide open for them to get everything they want in that comp faster than maybe they normally would, and maybe take this lobby, because right now it seems as though everyone's just going for those electrics. And if you don't hit them, if you're not rolling as well as Pipa or Narkez right now, or maybe you're not playing the comp as well as they are, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting as well because, we talked about the fact of these scores, Narkez and Pipa, at the top, and they've gone the same composition both games. Pipa has gone the patented, Zed, Singed, Electrics, and Narkez has gone Berserkers for both games. Strong things when we talk about, what's rising at the top of this meta, and those are players that play that style very well, and their results, kind of speak for themselves, and talking about, this meta and how to do well in it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it does seem to be just their style is the best. And so when you try and go at them playing their style, sometimes you're going to fall short. And I think the other players may need to try and look to play their own game and try and come out on top because of that, because following along doesn't seem to be working out.
Yeah. It's interesting as well. I'm taking a look at these scores again. Deisik, who was our winner of last week, is definitely a very, very good player. Obviously, he's been rank 1 in EU for such a long time, has a really good grasp of the game always, and it seems that he's also very able to adapt to different styles of play here. But maybe the reason that Deisik is sort of at the bottom of this lobby in terms of scores here is because he is trying to adapt so much. I guess going back to that point, kind of hammering it on, what's strong right now: Electrics, Glacial, Zerkers. Deisik, I don't think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've seen him play that same style. Deisik, obviously a very good player, but not playing that style. And we see him at 13 points, kind of middle of the pack here. Soulless as well. I think, Soulless getting a 4th and then a 5th place as well. Very middle of the pack. Obviously good players, but, trying to play their own game, and it's just not quite good enough. It's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, I mean, Sphinx, kind of a disappointing performance for himself here as a multi-time Fight Night champion.
Yeah.
Only on 11 points so far, and that's definitely not what we expect to see when Sphinx is in the lobby. He's usually towards the top of the tables, and it just shows the strength of lobby that we have here, and maybe it's a patch that Sphinx is struggling with a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, the patch with the hotfix is relatively new. You know, it was hotfixed, I believe, on Tuesday towards the end of the day. So really only like a full like day and a half for players to get used to shadows being very, very nerfed. There was so many players and on ladder going shadows. It's kind of just like, oh, kindreds, boom, scions. All right, we're strong for the mid game. All right, get to level 8, level 7, maybe if you're lucky. You know, high roll that mastery, and boom, that's like nearly a first place. If you're not getting hard countered by crystals, maybe one of the only things that was really good against that. But yeah, with nerfing 3 separate things in terms of shadows with the 6-player synergy, the 6-person synergy, the Yi and the Scion. It's just so different, but we are finally getting into game here. We have collected all of our players finally, and we'll be happy to give you game number 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see what map they end up on this time.
Yeah,
so we head right into
mountain.
Will be mountain. So this
That's
is
another
second
Yasuo
mountain.
vest that the whole lobby is seemingly going for. Okay, basically just the vests. Soulless comes on top of that one.
Pipa actually able to grab half a GA.
Half a GA as opposed to the vest of Soulless there.
Yeah.
Very different items, of course. Sword grabbed by Narkez here. I'm curious to see the initial few rounds from Narkez, the decisions that he makes, what items decides to slam, because, you know, Narkez in first place for a reason right now. Doesn't put the mouse on the mountain buff, but probably is going to be inconsequential, as that mouse will probably be sold the next round or next 2 rounds. I wonder what item will pop up here. No item at all, actually.
So a little bit of coins. Couple coins for Narkez. He's been popping off so far this fight night. Just trying to see what he gets from his bench. A couple of Maokais that he's going to pass up on.
Yeah, at least for now. Probably will pick those up unless he decides to make gold or rolls a lot of gold here from this next PvE round. But yeah, mountain map is very, very good. If you roll an early Talia and Kiana, you can get that 1500 HP shield and be very, very strong. Almost guarantees a win streak, I would say, during that early game. So Narkez will definitely hold on to that. Speaking of Kiana, boom, there's one right there. And Ariel actually as well.
There's the mountain synergy.
There is
Kiana Talia that you're talking about. There's another Talia as well if he wants to go for the tier 2. Try and play those.
Yeah, or the Maokai. But doesn't have mountain, but what he does have are some glacial electrics with an Ezreal. That is also very strong. I don't blame that play going in over the mountains. Maybe at level 5 you play all of those, the mountain and the glacial electrics, but for now, at least buffing up that Volibear, as he probably wants to keep that in for a long time. Buying the whole shop out, maybe sells to 10 gold here, depending. That's a Soraka. It probably sells to 10 here.
Yep, there we go. Starts to sell to 10. You're going to keep the Talias as well as the Kiana, so maybe looking for that mountain on 5 like you're talking about.
Oh, man.
Wow. That's a
volley too if he wants it. And yeah, he does want that. Wow, I guess this is how Narkez gets first play. Oh man.
We mentioned it was the theme of an earlier game, high roll. Gonna pick up the volley 2 already, which has been integral in the composition Narkez has been running, and to have that at the very start, gotta feel good alongside a Guardian Angel.
Yeah, oh man, imagine if this was Pipa's start. Like how good this would be for Pipa's overall game plan. Narkez has gone Berserker, he's put 2 games. GA, a good Berserker item, and obviously Volibear, a good Berserker as well, a necessary Berserker. Narkez does end up selling Nasus and Talia there in favor of keeping the Ezreal though. Interesting decision. See if it pays off.
Yeah, he wants that glacial buff that he has been utilizing in the mid game pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And just going to play Mountain for now, not concerned about upgrading those Mountain units, but just using it for the synergy until he finds, I suppose, a couple more Electrics and Berserkers and the like.
There's another Berserker there. Scion, the 3 cost, one of the harder ones to find, at least at this point in the game.
Glacial as well, if he wants to play it with the Warwick.
Probably will play it after Carousel, I think. We'll level to 5 at that point, throw that Ezreal in. Maybe can run 4 Glacials at a certain point, but that wouldn't be really until level 7, assuming that he wants to keep those mountains in. I think we can probably, take a look at maybe Deisik's board here, I think, as Narkez will probably be win streaking with this for at least until Krugs.
Yeah, Pipa has a couple tier 2 units, but not much in the way of synergies. Don't think that he's got enough to push through this tier 2 volley.
It's just the next game.
Not quite, no.
Yeah, not gonna be. And
That
the
Orin
Electric's
is
just kind of pumping out the DPS. Yeah,
It's so good. Oh man, that round 2-1 volley too.
Pipa does have half a redemption on the bench.
Yeah, and was it what other item did people have in play there? I didn't honestly look and see.
Well, it was one of 3 items, right?
One of 4 maybe.
That's true. We did add Ionic Spark to the list.
Yeah. Another Orin there. Checking out Deisik. Yeah, it does have 4 items here. I am curious for the decisions that he makes. Turns out Deisik is playing an Ezreal with Glacials and a couple of Wardens here. A lot of pairs though. If he it is on the carousel round though, so we'll definitely make 20 gold, I think, either way. Wants to pick up the Karma, but that would put him at 15, so it'd be hard to make 20 at that point. Jumping into this round, he's scouting a little bit as well. Who is Deisik himself facing, though? That is the question. Jinxed. With the Ezreal of his own. Ezreals, man. Ezreals are everywhere.
They really are.
Yeah.
I can't get away from them.
Yeah, he does so much damage.
All over the Runeterra meta as well, and it's just Ezreal everywhere, you know? Can't escape. But, of course, Ezreal looking quite strong with the Glacial change. And it looks like Jinxed Ezreal is going to be a little bit better here, taking down Deisik.
Yeah, just a little bit. We see an Ezreal here with a bow. That's going to be something that a lot of these players want. Soulless grabbing a sword, Cayrub grabbing a glove. Curious to see what Pipa takes. Yes, half a redemption that Pipa takes there.
I need to sell this one.
With that, I can't even say what it is. It's half a redemption to Pipa. Deisik though, opting to keep that Ezreal. Wants to get that tier 2 as fast as possible. Sells off a little bit of that bench there to make up to 20 gold.
Yeah, definitely looking for more of those. It's got the bow on that Ezreal. And see if he just combines here. Let's see if he can find one more. Or if he's going to sell that off for the bow.
I mean, I can level up.
Plays the one with the bow instead of the one with the sword.
Yep. Or levels up and plays both. Makes that Rage Blade. There we go. Makes a Zephyr as well. Deisik slamming items. I think that is a good play here. I really like that. You have the Rage Blade already. You have almost an Ezreal too. You're going to find that. It's going to be your carry. You don't really need any other items right now. Zephyr is always a good item. So I definitely don't mind slamming it.
Look to play it here, get the good Zephyr that he wants, goes on to Braum, get through the front line right away, so Ezreals can start working their way towards these veins, handed justice on the one in the back. Ezreals are proccing the Glacials very rarely right now, is only on 2 Glacial, but the Unbreakable trying to stop the onslaught of Mystic shots.
And those are 6 veins there. But I seem to be no match for the Ezreals, as the Glacials procs now do come out there. That Vayne can't play the game, pretty much there. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ezreal's gonna tell Vayne that she belongs in a museum and send her back.
Classic Ezreal voice line. Yeah, Pipa here. Oh, this is a new Pipa item.
Whatever.
Never before seen. Bramble Vest from Pipa.
I think he built it once last week, I think. Threw that on the Zed as well, but you know, we're getting some exceptions here to the rule. No longer was it just half of a GA. is now half of a G8 or half of a Bramble Vest.
Becomes
Yeah, it's getting a little dangerous. Slippery slope before it becomes a chain vest again.
real.
Ooh,
Not sure if we want that, but
wouldn't know what to do
fortunately,
at that point.
Join the tournament?
Pipa does
No,
have some
get invited.
quite powerful items
I think
being
you have
carried
to
by this Warwick
be
here.
a
I do
streamer,
expect to get pretty good value out of this
YouTuber
redemption. It's about the
Yeah,
proc, and that should be able to
probably.
land onto the Warwick, and yeah,
Soulless
that's
is bored.
probably
good.
going to be the round for Pipa.
Does he have the same board as me?
It looks like it. Renekton 2 will get the Koldemeikov, and there we go. That's the round for Pipa there. 4 units beating 5 units on the side of Soulless, but Soulless did have a Yasuo, and another Yasuo on bench there. So
Yeah,
maybe
that wasn't
Soulless
easy,
going for
so-
that, Yasuo and friends, that Blade Master composition here.
You can't do me like
Some
Yeah,
that.
we
good
did
rolls for
see
Pipa there.
some success from the Yasuo last week. We haven't really seen it played this week at all, but could be interesting. Saw a change up from the electric compositions, but the one issue I do see with the Yasuo and Friends comp is I can't really see Yasuo being a great
Yes,
answer
Adam.
to the electric berserkers. It feels
EA
like
Redemption
all that
D.
damage coming out and the tankier units that
I think he's gonna try to spam it
exist
from
within that
Kelly.
composition
I don't know.
might end up being quite good against the
Can
Yasuo.
try.
Yeah, if Yasuo gets hit by a Olaf, it gets frozen, it's a little doomed. Maybe, Yasuo, if he's able to just like one-shot the Olaf, if you have some really good items on him, then at that point it's strong. Nico here for Piba. Look at his face right now.
Alright, let me rephrase. Yes,
I love
have
it.
Double Nico.
Piba.
Oh, sees the Nikos. He can just see the tier 2 Zed in it. That's what he sees. He sees the future.
That was bad. I love it. That was
Why does this feel so much?
That's definitely going to be on a 5 cost unit in the future, whether it be a Singed or a Zed. I wouldn't imagine it be anything else. Piba opting to does he make
Oh, is this another new item? We
I
have
mean,
seen a Dragon Claw from
We
him
have.
on a Zed in the past. It generally he prefers the Quicksilver.
Yep.
Um,
Imagine
But
if I
is
accidentally
going to
Nico.
make the Dragon's Claw. We
see his
have
face
half
there
of
as
a-
he
yeah.
almost threw the Nikos onto the Warwick for a second there.
That would have been a big yikes. There
Would've
is
been
a clip-
tragic.
There's a pretty well-renowned clip of one of our previous Fight Night competitors by the name of Raditz, who quite famously Nico'd an Ornn instead of Nicoing whatever else he was trying to put on,
Since I got a little
or just instead of the item he was trying to put on the Ornn at that time.
probably gonna level
I
this
think he did it
turn,
twice
even though
even too. I think there's 2
would,
clips of that.
because I
But
can win
Pipa not making the same mistake here.
in the street.
Be a step ahead of Raditz here. Maybe we'll see Raditz again in then a future Fight Night once again. But for now, we have all of these competitors watching Soulless here on this level 6 roll down. Wants to find that Yasuo too. Does manage to find it.
There it is.
Yeah, some Sivers as well. And found a Janna. This is strong.
Yeah,
This is
finding a
strong. I
couple
like it.
friends for his Yasuo and friends.
Yeah. Is putting in a lot of tier 1 units over tier 2 units though. It is a bit concerning
Yeah,
perhaps.
maybe committing quite a bit to the friends side of Yasuo and friends and
Yeah.
getting rid of a lot of the old composition here.
I don't
Um,
actually think I like that as much. I think I like a lot of the old friends, the ones that Yasuo kind of tossed to the side there.
Yeah, well, Yasuo seems to be a bit of a fair weather friend, trying to find new friends everywhere he goes. Not sticking with the day ones, but of
Nope.
course, Yasuo gonna pay for it dearly as he drops down, getting yeeted away by Talia, and the Kiana's gonna finish him off.
Yeah.
Like Souless probably not gonna win this round.
Soulless question mark picking that Azir Soldier there. The Azir Soldier spawned right as the Yasuo perished and Kiana was moving away from it, unfortunately. Otherwise, maybe it could have been a victory, but that was not to be. Soulless here holding on to 2 of the Kha'Zix is here. That's a lot of gold there. Is it worth it? I'm not quite sure, seeing as he's already sold the Renekton. So not going to be a 4 desert mid game for him here.
Yeah, it does not seem
Yep.
to be.
Sells him off.
Picks up a Vigar, a couple of shadows putting off to the corner, just putting himself down at 20 gold. Probably gonna sell those off in the long run here.
Yep. I guess giving himself better rolls for those tier or 3 cost and 2 cost. Yeah, 3 cost and 2 cost units there. Facing his natures here, though. That's a thick side on the front lines.
Yeah, the big decimating smash going down onto the Yasuo, stunning him up, proccing that GA rather quickly. Now it's all down to Azir trying to do his very best with that Sand Soldier, but
Ooh.
not going to be
there.
quite powerful enough. Yeah, saving some HP for Soulless as he drops down to 59 at the bottom of the ladder right now.
Yeah, Souless doing a better Pipa impression than Pipa here, getting to be pretty low in terms of HP on the lobby. Pipa actually top of the lobby here, 87 HP.
Pipa not doing a great job at being Pipa right now.
Wins, 4-win streak here, wow.
Yeah, very
crazy.
against character. We may have to check in on Soulless on the Pipa round.
Yeah, maybe they swapped positions here, but no, I mean, Souless, I think, has been low at the start of a lot of these lobbies, and he has gotten to, I think he got 4th place in game number 1, got 5th place last game, so is making those into some middle of the pack placements. Grabbing a sword there, I believe that will be a Bloodthirster on that Yasuo, if I would imagine, seeing as there is a cloak on the bench there. But who else we have? We have Cayrub here, who is at 60 HP, almost as low as Souless here. Cayrub was 3rd place in points in the lobby. Cayrub was 2nd place last game. 16 points overall here tonight.
Bloodthirster going to be completed on the Yasuo
Yep.
to heal himself back up when he gets into these fights.
Souless going to be going after Wolves, leveling up and rolling the rest of his gold down, I would assume. Trying to find some Leonas, some Sivers, some Azirs. Has a lot of units to go before he's strong, I think. As he's on a 4 loss streak here. Running to Cayrub, though. Cayrub with only 2 shadows in, but 4 glacials, though.
Kindred with a Hand of Justice in the back, going to be doing quite a bit of damage. The Yasuo goes in onto the Ezreal with a Bramble Vest and a Redemption from his Thieves Gloves there.
Yeah.
Also going to drop into the GA, not going to be able to heal quite enough with that Bloodthirster, and Soulless going to take another big chunk of HP. Dropping down quite low, down to 49, already below the halfway point.
Yeah, Kindred doing a great job there of negating that Bloodthirster healing, as Kindred does apply Grievous Wounds on her ultimate there. Checking with Sphinx, we see our first Ocean Mage player here tonight. With that,
actually.
Some mages, yeah.
And it's doing quite well. Sphinx at 85 HP currently, and Ocean Mage historically a quite powerful late game composition as well, so see if Sphinx can hang on for a bit and find his brand upgrades and kind of move this towards the late game.
Only 3 oceans in right now in favor of the Mountain buff, but Mountain very, very strong, of course. Also, running into Natures here, who has that 3 shadow buff. That GA Scion now. Ooh, that's a bunch of damage there. Malphite instantly dies.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage to the Syndra as well, but we just have to watch that brand as the Pyroclasm going to come out, hitting onto the back line, bouncing back and forth onto the Veins, and it's going to go down against the Senna when he'll get one more Pyroclasm out, and that'll finish that off. So looking quite strong, that brand, already doing a ton of damage just on tier 1.
Yeah, you know how we meme about...
Good in this lobby.
You know how we meme about, it's actually a 50-50, a lot of things are 50-50. That literally came down to a 50-50 there with that brand getting that double cast off there, because if that was not double cast, Sphinx for sure loses that round, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, you either win the round or you don't. It's 50-50, so, you know, Sphinx going to win that one with the 50-50 in his 50-50, and playing the brand there, going to get the Pyroclasm out, and the bounce is going the right way for him, and... Excuse me?
Narkez had a Morello singed before Wolves.
It looked like he had a whole ass comp there.
Yeah, and a whole ass comp as well. Besides,
he's not on a win streak. It kind of snuck up on me there, and maybe he'll still lose a couple rounds for now, but I saw quite a few tier 2 units that we've seen towards the end game of Narkez's comps as we see the level 7s roll in across the board.
Yeah, I want to see what Sphinx does with this roll down here. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, does he keep rolling until he finds the brand, but that roll is all that he needed. Does decide to commit the Rage Blade to brand. I was wondering if he was also going to save those items, or save that slot, excuse me, for a tier item.
Keeps rolling down, maybe for the karmas and the... Well, the flat I feel like isn't as important necessarily.
No, it does hit one though. Yeah, if I were a Sphinx there, well, the Malphites as well, I guess. 1-2 Malphite. But I think he's strong enough right now. I mean, this is
Ooh. Oh, it did bounce. That first Pyroclasm looked like it wasn't going to bounce, but it actually did. And that's probably going to be enough damage to win the round. Yeah, the second one, of course, crushing the rest of the lineup of Jinx. And yeah, Sphinx looks very strong as we approach 4-3. And we've got, let's see, Soulless. Soulless is quite low right now.
Yeah,
he's already completely rolled down. I mean, this is where he's going to be at for now. Does have his Yasuo and friends. Yasuo 2 does pick up a couple more tier 2 units in the Azir and the Sivir, as well as the Karma.
Yep, 27 HP though, very dangerously low here on a 7-loss streak right now. Cayrub saying in chat there, where's my Olaf at? Maybe looking for that for the Berserkers. Checking soon, but yeah, Sphinx on their side of Soulless here. I'm not sure this Yasuo is gonna be enough to get some Mountain Shield.
Probably a good test to see what he can do, but doesn't even break the shield. As Yasuo is gonna go down into the GA state, gets one more off, still doesn't kill off the brand, and Soulless gonna take a beating from Sphinx right now.
That's not who you want to run into at that point there, but we go to 4-3. We go to the Pipa round.
What time it is? The Pipa round brought to you by Giant Slayer TV.
I love it. Wait, there you go. Go fast, Pipa. Find the Zeds. Malphites. Master Yi, that's not a Zed.
That's not. There's the Malphite, though.
Malphite, too. Yeah, I mean, sure, he'll take that. Oh, that's a Moo. There's never. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that's the end of the Pipa round there.
This has been the Pipa round, brought to you by Giant Slayer TV.
It's the Malphite too. I guess that's pretty solid. Has a couple of glacials there. Has the Ezreal carry, which we have seen him have. Running into Narkez though, who has, as you put it, a whole ass comp with that Singed and the Olaf, some glacials. Enough to beat the Pipa.
The tier 1 Kog'Maw in the back might make it a half-ass comp, but I will say it's a composition for sure.
It's poison, I think. I think he had poison in there with the Kog'Maw. I'm not sure.
He may have. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. I just saw that little dude hanging out in the back at the end of the fight. I was like, okay.
What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing there?
No, of course, he's on this quite a big win streak. He does have the Olaf that Cayrub, of course, is looking for, and we're gonna see Pipa pick up, half a GA here, and
Karma tethered
figure out what he can do with that. As he's yet to find the Zed, and he has dropped quite low, down to 39.
Yeah, was one of the HP leaders at the beginning of the game, but Pipa loves money, hates health, but at this point in the game, you need to spend that money. We'll see if the roll down continues here. Those are some Olafs. Okay.
Taric.
Yeah.
Put in another glacial. Not quite.
There it is.
Look at his face. It's the patented Pipa face.
I love it. The same face that we saw when the Nico dropped. Rolls, hits the Zed. Gonna be putting those items onto that Zed. Actually, does he commit all 3 of these items onto Zed? Or does he greed?
For sure 2 of them, but we'll see.
Definitely 2. The Bram up. That's 3.
All right. 3. Besides that, those are going to be tanky enough that he doesn't need the GA, which might be very well true.
Actually, he could put a GA onto the Zed later, actually, if he finds another one, and finds the, what's it called? The GA from Raptors. He can put the new Zed in onto the mountain buff, put the GA on him, and then Nico. The rest of the items will fall off, and then he can pick and choose what he wants to put onto it at that point. Some 500 IQ item transitions there that we've seen from Pipa before, I believe. He's choosing to roll down right now, though, so even if he found a Zed, he would have to then say that he didn't want to Nico it immediately if you did want to item transfer. But I'm sure if he hits the Zed, too, he's just Nicoing it anyway. These are still 3 good items for the Zed.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to fight his way to top 4, really. He has a rather good lead. I guess he is fighting against Narkez, who is towards the top of the table in this lobby, and he does need to make sure that he places higher than Narkez to keep trying to overtake him in the standings right now. The Zed in the back going to get ulted by the Yasuo. That last breath going to take down one Zed after another. So no more clones coming out. And the Yasuo is still alive with the rest of his friends. But his friends are all going down. All my friends are dead as he's singing right now. But
he doesn't care.
Yasuo, Yasuo doesn't care. He's still on his grind. He's knocking everyone down. Taking out Pipa. Soulless going to win the round.
Well, 1v5 there at the end. You know, we were talking earlier about, is the Yasuo going to be enough to, you know, beat these Zeds, these triple item electric carries? And at least for that round it was. Granted, this is a Z1 with no Guardian Angel, but it still fares pretty well for Soulless here. Hanging on. Is one Yasuo away from Yasuo 3, actually. If he's able to get that, it might even be able to get a Z2.
That really could. I mean, I do think the Z2, if Pipa does hit it, is going to be too much for the Yasuo 2. But yeah, like you mentioned, if he does hit that Yasuo 3, it could certainly be enough.
Yeah,
and, couple items here for Pipa.
Yeah, not amazing ones there. Hits that Karma upgrade. That's really good. Crystal Lux again, that Pipa sees this game. Rolls past it, though. There is going to be that Nami that he likes. Nautilus over the Ezreal already, it seems, for that 2 Ocean. And then 2 Ocean's pretty good in terms of, you know, allowing the Zed to get a few more ults off, allows Malphite to get ult off, as well as Karma, you know. Those are all good units. We check back in with Sphinx here as well, though, and yeah, has rolled down kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's a big boy, though.
Yeah, it's still that brand there. Triple items. He's on a 7-win streak here. Yeah,
Zed getting the backline, though, and just proc after proc of the electric, taking down the brand, but the brand gets back up after the GA and gets a pyroclasm off, and now the Zeds are in a little bit of trouble getting stunned up by the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Pipa's going to get taken down by Sphinx here, dropping quite low.
Yeah, Pipa didn't actually put that Warden spat in. I wonder if he is looking for another Zed and then use that item swap mechanic onto the Zed. Deisik finding Lux 2 there, it seemed. Maybe check in with Deisik soon, see what Lux exactly that is. Pipa, you know, has that Nico, but has not found the Z2 yet.
That
is an electric Lux 2. Ooh.
4 electric.
4 electric, 4 Deisik. 4 Warden. Yeah. 4 Deisik.
4 Deisik, beefy front line, and he's got the tier 2 Lux in the back with the Guardian Angel Ginsu Runan's Ezreal in the back line to pump out all the damage, get all the CC out, and it's going to be enough to take down NaturesbF here, and it's going to send him out in 8th, unless someone else fell. No, Soulless actually fell first.
Yeah.
Soulless is going to go down in 8th, NaturesbF following up in 7th, and Cayrub down to 4 HP next to Jinx, that's 6 HP.
It's not a skill game, just...
Yeah, man. I'm gonna keep track of the comps that don't place well. Soulless had a Yasuo and Friends comp. Nature's had Shadows, both going 8th and 7th respectively there. And yeah, we see Ocean Mages actually at the top though, which is interesting. But Deisik with those electrics in 3rd place currently. Man, these Cayrub, Jinx, Pipa, and Deisik all pretty low here though.
Yeah, I mean Pipa's still on the tier 1 Zed. The first time he hasn't found the tier 2 very quickly. Zed's still going to get into the backline, take down that Lux. We see the Redemption actually getting full value here, and that might be enough for him to take down Deisik, as he's got the Zeds in the backline cloning themselves and taking down everybody here. Finally get through the Nasa's HP bar, and yeah, that's so many clones. That round's going to Pipa, but going back to your point about the comps that have lost, we see a lot of different things other than electric falling out, but Ocean Mage at the top of the table, kind of the fluffy strategy, go against the grain, pick something else you're good at, pick something that's strong, and take it to all the people that are going the same composition, because Sphinx has had an uncontested run at his mages, has been able to find everything he needs, and this is the most dominant lobby we've had, with Sphinx still at 85 HP.
Yeah, Narkez at 52 still as well. You know, not too bad considering the rest of the 3 are 17 HP and below here. We see what Deisik's going to roll down for, but we were to Narkez. Yeah, Narkez had that Morello Singe very, very early. It has gone to 9. Look at his comp right now. 6 Berserkers, 3 Poison, 3 Electrics with that Berserker spat on the Zed there. This is some high quality gameplay from Narkez here, showing why he has done so well tonight and is continuing to do so.
Yeah, I mean, that's still potentially a first place composition here.
Yeah.
At very least, it looks like a second place to Sphinx. So it's looking really, really good for Narkez. Seems to have this patch figured out as we see his Olaf jump into action, trying to get the crowd control down onto the Malphite. Finally going to run through with the Unstoppable Force, but the Olaf still pumping out all the damage, finally proccing the Ragnarok and just moving through the entire team of Pipa, taking them all down. The Zed is still up, though, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get enough clones out as this Olaf is already rolling. Redemption coming down, and one more clone, another Redemption, but not sure it's going to be enough. The poison coming out from the Twitch as well to stop some of that mana generation, and man, that's going to drop. Deisik's going to drop out of the game. Pipa down to 7 HP.
Yeah, Cayrub as well falls. I believe fell that last round. Yeah, Cayrub in 5th, Deisik in 4th there. And Pipa finds himself in the top 3 again. That is the Z2. Look at his face. I was like, wait, why is that look at his face? And he's choosing what to sell here, or if he needs to sell. Does he sell the Malphite? What does he do?
He's out of time. He's not selling anything. It's just a
log. It is a log here.
Is he gonna go down? He's against Sphinx. This is pretty scary. And the Zed is Zephyred. Sphinx, we have to watch the tier 2 brand, pops the Pyroclasm, does get the double cast, and it's coming across everyone on the team, but Zed obviously not taking too much damage with his Dragon Claw. It's just a matter of if he can get enough clones out, trying his very best, but that's an unstoppable force coming across those Zeds already. One more clone coming out, and we see another Redemption, but they move out of the heal. One last one, can it come down in time? But the healing reduction from the Morellos is going to be enough, and Pipa's going to go down just as he finds his tier 2 Zed. A little bit too slow on the draw. He had to go for it.
Man, I love Pipa's facial expressions there. They're very, very telling of just his emotions as a whole there. Oh, man. Narkez, 52 HP. Sphinx, 85 on Dragon. Have they, like, not run into each other ever? And has been dominating everybody else, I guess?
I mean, it seems like it, but now we're going to see the clash of the Titans as Narkez takes on Sphinx. Going to start out with a Dragon round, though. A little bit of PvE action as they try and grab this locket for Narkez. And I'm not sure what we have for Sphinx, but we'll check it out once they fight each other, or if Narkez does us a favor and scouts him. But we will see soon enough what he picked up.
Yeah,
that's there. A lot of legendary units. Most of them get passed up because, of course, they don't fit into the comp. We did get word that Sphinx grabbed a Frozen Heart, which is not really the best item, but it might be okay considering how many melee units are running at each other, auto-attacking here in the late game.
It'll get a decent amount of value there. You know, it's not the best item, but it's not too shabby as well. Narkez going to be repositioning here last second. Does not want to get Zephyr. Does Sphinx have a Zephyr here? Yeah, he does.
Doesn't get the Olaf, only gets the Twitch that has no items, so not the highest value target. As we start to see the Olaf trying to pop off, good amount of CC comes down finally before he gets the Ragnarok off, but now he's just ripping apart Sphinx's comp, but we see the Pyroclasms coming out doing a lot of damage. Now it's just down to this Olaf staying alive, but he's going to proc into GA, and it's down to the brand, but he gets frozen, and that's going to do it for Narkez winning that round, but this is going to be a long one, it looks like. Get ready to be sitting around watching these two go at it for quite a bit of time, as they both have a lot of HP and these fights are very close.
Yep, Sphinx going to 9. Well, let's just put it in a Mumu too. You know, that's pretty good. That's a solid pickup there. Cloud Lux. I would pick up that if I were Sphinx here, actually. Against the Berserkers, I think. That's going to be a lot of value. But Tarek is also no slouch, though.
See what the Zephyr lands on here. If you can find the tier 2 Tarek, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Gets the Zephyr.
Not in the Olaf.
Grab the Olaf, no.
No, didn't have a unit in position for that one. Damn, Tarek 1 still ulting though. That's really
Yeah,
good.
that's actually very important, I think, as the brand getting shredded by Zed in the backline, though. Amumu's Curse of the Sad Mummy coming across as a Pyroclasm comes down, but the GA still available for Olaf, and Sphinx is getting chipped away at. He's still got quite a lot of HP to work with, but it's going to start to dwindle faster and faster, and he's got to find the answer to this Berserker comp of Narkez.
Yep, does decide to pick up those clouds. Takes out the Tarek and the Karma. You don't need Mystics really versus that Berserker composition. So a good heads up play here by Sphinx. A reason why he has been a Fight Night winner before. Going to be wanting to move that Zephyr. Doesn't even look, just moves it. Does not grab anything of importance here. Maybe even just getting the Singe, which won't work at all. Does get the Twitch though.
It gets the Twitch, and now looking at the front line of this fight, the Amumu getting a big Curse of the Sad Mummy, and we got to watch these Pyroclasms as the bounces this time around doing quite a bit of work. The Olaf going down very quickly, and that's a big chunk of damage. Was that the difference of the clouds just hanging on a little bit longer?
I mean, that's 25% dodge.
It's hard to see it just happening in the fight, but it does seem like that 25% dodge made a massive difference.
Yeah, 25% is a pretty big number, 1 in 4 auto attacks getting dodged, and if you're, have all the Berserkers autoing at once, that's a lot of prevented damage there. That is a Mage Cap grab by Sphinx here. I don't think he'll be going for 6 mages, but maybe can take out a Talia. In fact, definitely can take out a Talia here, as there is no more mountain buff either. Maybe wants to find that Malphite 2, though?
Yeah, giving someone a chance to double cast too. Does he have anyone where he gets a lot of value on that? Maybe the Lux?
Could be a Nami, could be a Lux, could be a Mumu, which isn't the best, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, the double cast doesn't get that much value because it doesn't do very much damage, right? And the stun isn't going to get like chained because it's instantly, but we do see the Curse of the Sad Mummy come out. Does double cast there? Maybe there was a little bit of delay in between actually, so that does kind of work out. But still, Brand gets run down, and the Olaf still in the GA state, going to run through, and they're trading blows. Sphinx going to take a big chunk of damage there as well, and Narkez and Sphinx staying within 16 HP of each other here, 48 to 32.
Wonder why. Okay, I was gonna say, I wonder why Sphinx is holding on to the Zeds, but it turns out it was just to have a higher chance of rolling legendaries. Needs a Nami too, though. That'd be pretty good. What swaps will be made here, though? Okay. Sells the Janna. Puts in a tier 2 Malphite. I think I like this play. Even with only 2 clouds from that one Lux, it's going to be 20% dodge. So only 5% difference there. Narkez does have a Singe 2 right now, though.
All right, so now coming across the poison, and basically Sphinx's comp is starting to get run over. We do see the double cast Pyroclasm as a laser comes across as well. The GA proccing, and now as the Olaf has been stunned most of the game, but he hasn't lost any HP, and he's going to take down Sphinx yet again. Another little chunk of damage, doing about 12 there. It's slowly adding up as Sphinx is dropping quite low, but like I mentioned, we're kind of in for the long haul here. They're 36 to 32. They still got a couple rounds left.
So this is very, very interesting for Sphinx, because Inferno is super good for him here. But Narkez also, I believe, got Inferno Spat as well. But the difference is that Narkez really doesn't want Inferno Spat. But for Sphinx, it's really freaking good. So that might make the difference here. A little bit of unfortunate item RNG there for Narkez. But I think it'll make the difference, but we'll see. Brand,
yeah, I mean, that's a lot of additional damage. The Amumu, of course, going to be applying it as well. They're both going to be applying it.
Nico there for Sphinx. Okay, doesn't even roll. Just instantly Nico's that. I would have preferred to see him roll there to see if he hits, Nico, or not Nico, sorry, Nami naturally, and maybe Nico's the Lux too or something. But, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate this. It's still good. Narkez Inferno Spat. What did he put that on? I don't even see it right now.
The bench. Doesn't need that item. Threw it away. Not sure exactly where it is, but it's definitely pretty worthless for him.
Yep. All right.
That's a big Zephyr actually hitting on to the Olaf this time around. is finally going to get into the fight. As we see the Brand kind of stepping up into the middle of the team as well, going to fall, and the Amumu getting off a pretty big ulti here. It's just the Amumu left with the Syndra, going to get one more Curse of the Sad Mummy off, but this Olaf is still just too much. The Amumu coming back up, getting stunned immediately, and Olaf taking him down. Sphinx going to take another chunk of damage.
Yeah, just looking at these damage numbers across the fight from Sphinx there, it wasn't enough from the Brand. The Amumu's dealing second most damage. I mean, Inferno's obviously putting in a lot of work there. Puts in Mystics for that, but Mystics isn't amazing here. Maybe thinks it's going to be better than the Talia Mountain buff, though. Yeah, I guess so. Puts back
goes
in.
Back to 3 Cloud.
Yeah, it goes back to 3 Cloud. This positioning here is really interesting as well by Sphinx.
Brand in the corner. Doesn't get jumped on by Zed this time.
No.
Does have a singed in his face, though. We're looking for that Pyroclasm as Brand kind of walks in yet again. Kind of unfavorable positioning, but the GA is procced on the Olaf already, and he does go down, and that's going to be the round. Narkez going to drop very low off of that one.
So randomly Syndra did over 3k damage there, which is interesting. Also, I think that's like 500 IQ positioning there for Sphinx. It took a long time for the Singe to get to the Brand, but he still got poisoned pretty quickly. It's just that with only one cast of the Brand ulti there, he's still able to take victory there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to the RNG on the bounces hitting the Olaf. It was able to drop him down into Guardian Angel state before the Olaf even made it to the front line to get off that Ragnarok. So that's definitely rough for Narkez, as his win condition is in that Olaf. The Assassin does get on to the Brand this time. The Pyroclasm coming across. It is a double cast, but it's not onto the Olaf. It's onto the rest of the team, and that's the GA from the Brand. He gets one more double cast off, and this time it is hitting the Olaf. Going to drop him into the Guardian Angel state, and there's a lot of units left, but the Olaf versus the world right now, and Syndra's going to take him down, and that might actually do it. And it does. Sphinx going to take that round. End of the game against Narkez here, but Narkez scoring another second place. That's second for Narkez. But Sphinx, we talked about him just before this game. A little bit disappointing first 2 rounds, but from a previous Fight Night winner, I mean, this is what we expect. Able to come back, take a win this time around, playing something other than Electrics.
Yeah, not only is, we expect Sphinx to do pretty well here, but this is exactly what we were talking about before this game with who's going to sort of break the mold of what this meta has shaped up to be tonight with these Electrics, these Berserkers. Sphinx saying, I can play something else. I can play these Ocean Mages, and I can do well with it, even win the round, win the game against Narkez there. But, oh man, we look at these points. Narkez, more points than Deisik had right now last week. He's at 37. Only really contested by Pipa here. Even if Sphinx wins the next game and Narkez gets 8th, Narkez will still have at least top 2 here. So definitely in a super good position here. But Pipa can always slap out of first place here. And if Narkez gets bottom 4, we could see a Pipa victory as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pipa could definitely pull this one out. It's one of the widest point gaps we've ever seen from a first to third in Fight Night. So Narkez, one of our newest players, we didn't really know him too well coming in, has really shown up and is dominating this lobby.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very impressive there. I mean, we talked about, how hard it is for players to be this consistent. We've, had a few players over the course of Fight Night history, come in and have very dominant first 3 games between Striving Light, once upon a time ago. She, had a few firsts, but then got 8th. Deisik last week got a few seconds and then got like either a 6th or a 7th. Last week as well. So can Narkez finish off with a strong performance in game number 4? That is the question.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, we preach consistency so much, and we've never seen anyone complete that kind of top 2 all the way across the board thing. So this could be a first for Narkez if he can pull it off. If he can top 2 this game, it'll be the first time anyone does that. It'll be the highest single score we have seen at a Fight Night.
Yep, no pressure, Narkez. No pressure at all.
Yeah, we say this every time because it would be unfair to everyone before.
Yep. See, Narkez here, starting off with the chain vest, something that a lot of players do gravitate towards. If this was Pipa, though, it'd be half of a either Bramble vest or Guardian's Angel now. You know, got the diversity in there. Bramble vest, we saw last game, did pretty well.
It's a half a redemption.
Yeah, half a redemption there as well. But no, the strategy from Pipa as well has been working out. I mean, like talked a lot about Narkez here, as he is dominating. But you know, Pipa is how many points? Like 4 points behind. Yeah, Narkez at 37. Pipa is at 33. Pipa's gotten a first place and then 2 third places there.
Yeah, in most fight nights, Pipa would be in first place in fairly commanding style with that point total.
Definitely, if not for Narkez, who is dominating.
Yeah, absolutely. And already finding his orange here.
Yep.
Setting up for the same composition yet again. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
For sure. A couple of Talias here on another mountain map, so maybe we will see another Kiana getting picked up here. Hopefully. But didn't put anything in the mountain hex that last round. So no plus 30 HP there.
Could be slapping the Ornn in there, right? Generally, he's keeping that unit for
a while
of the game.
Yeah. Pipa here with oh wait, I don't think any Pipa items actually go with a recurve bow, right?
Definitely a worst case scenario for Pipa here. Picking up a bow. He's not even sure what that is. He's found this item and he doesn't know at all what that item is. Never seen that item before, actually.
He's looking at it like, what do I do with this? Do I just slap it on a vein, hope it does something? Maybe. Oh, okay.
There's the Pipa face. Patented Pipa face.
What?
He got second.
Pipa. Oh man, triple Warwick here as well. Doesn't even need all of them. But how does he do it? Every single game, Pipa has gotten a Nico, right?
I want to say yes.
I think
want to
so.
say yes. I want to say yes. Tonight he has had a Nikos in every game.
True.
I guess if you're Pipa, you take those, slaps that foreign item onto the vein there when he's not sure what it is. Does have a Nico as well. Buffs up the Karma HP instead of the vein. If he loses, can definitely sell that Diana off for Econ.
Yeah, it looks like this is a pretty winnable round with his double tier 2 units.
Yeah.
It's a Guardian Angel and a tier gets slammed onto that Talia though. It looks like Narkez is trying to win. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Trying is the operative word.
Yep. That vein with that mysterious item there, going to be able to clean this up with the Karma at her side. A little bit of 80 carry support action there, killing the mid laner.
Yeah, the nice roam there. Couple missing pings coming out, but Narkez gonna lose that round. Despite his best efforts, but also just throwing some good items onto an item carrier for himself.
Definitely. People are relatively strong here. I'm curious though. Oh, Sphinx picked up Malzahar too there. As you saw on the side, that's pretty solid. Maybe check in a little bit with Sphinx and Deisik as well, because Deisik usually has a very good early game, knows what to play to get the most value, and preserving HP, and I think that's how Deisik gets a lot of consistent placements there.
Yeah, Sphinx with the early Malzahar too. I mean, maybe we'll see him actually try and go into some kind of summoner composition. Actually, that's
yeah. That is a Shojin on Malzahar. I know this is something that Mort Dog likes a lot, that infamous Riot member. But no, he really has preached how good Malzahar with Shojin and Morello's is. And what do we see there? Half of Morello's on the bench of Sphinx there. We'll probably be looking to go those Summoner and Shadows, maybe Infernos as well, as we get into the mid game.
I love how you say infamous Mort Dog, like it's sinister, like, oh, that Mort Dog.
Mort Dog. The very sinister developer there. Just why don't you give another tier 2 unit to Sphinx here? I mean, he doesn't have enough of those. Opts to put that in over the LeBlanc even. That's, I don't know if I'd make that.
Woodland.
Yeah.
We generally don't like taking out Woodland.
Not at this point. He sells it too. Oh man. I don't know if I like that one, but what is done here. We do have another upgraded unit from Sphinx. This is not bad. He'll probably be strong enough to win rounds anyway. So, here we go. Versus Jinxed here. And yeah, there's no way Jinxed wins this round, I don't think. Even with 4 Wardens.
Yeah, Jinx definitely gonna struggle once these Malzahar start spawning all these voidlings. He's got the Spear of Shojin, so we've already got 3. There's 6. Can we get 9? This is going on,
We
popping out
might.
voidlings.
Yeah, all the voidlings are alive, right? Yeah, they are. That's 9 voidlings on the board here on 2-3. Don't see that one every day.
Spawning an entire army. I think Sphinx is cheating. He's got 12 units on the board. Actually, 13 units
13
on the
units
board.
even. That's a lot of units.
A
13
baker's
units.
dozen on the board.
At round 2-3. But Jinx 79 HP. That is very, very low for this point in the game. Both players though taking rods. Soulless grabbing that Azir, as we saw him with last game as well. Narkez 87 HP with Natures. Let's see though what Sphinx is going to take here.
Yeah, Sphinx
The
gonna
sword?
move in, going for that sword, $1 sword.
Is that gonna be a double Shojin Malzahar?
I
Does he
hope
commit?
so,
Does he
honestly.
commit?
I hope he does. Just cause like it's something new, it's refreshing.
Another
Keep seeing all
Mal.
this electricity. Go for the tier 3 double Shojin Malzahar. Just break the mold. It's not gonna happen, but you know.
I mean, it might.
I guess he could, right? It's a 2-cost unit. It's reasonable to go tier 3. No one else is getting Malzahars.
That's
All right, the dream is dead.
Wyvern Dreams. For now, it's dead. Okay, Sphinx is holding on to some oceans there, right? He has the Sidra, the Vlad is in play, has the Nautilus and Thresh on the bench. There may be a world where Sphinx does sell off this Malzahar, given that he has chosen to put the Vladimir on the Mountain Hex instead and not the Malzahar, which suggests to me that he's going to sell it off eventually, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just want him to keep building an army. I mean, look at this.
It's 12 Voidlings nearly again. Maybe not, it's like 7 or 8, but...
There's so many units on the board. And
Yep.
He could have kept this Malzahar on the Mountain Hex forever, make it so tanky.
Another world. Another world.
Another timeline.
Yeah, Deisik here, while I was saying that he's usually strong in the early game, he's relatively weak here. Does have mountain synergy, but 78 HP right now in the favor of having gold. He's level 5 as well, though. Just doesn't really have enough going on. Karma here can tether to any of these units here. It's a kind of a free-for-all on who gets the tether of Karma. The love from the support there.
Yeah, we'll have to see who she picks.
Nasus.
Is the Nasus.
Not a great one, but it is what is happening. Nasus with the mountain buff as well.
Yeah,
Did a lot
he's
of
going to
damage,
pop off. He's right in the middle of everybody here, so that's exactly where he wants to be. Getting plenty of damage out, but this round's not looking so good for Deisik overall.
Tier 1 Nasus with no items, not gonna be good enough. Deisik taking a pretty sizable loss there, going down to 69 HP at Krugs. Kind of a yikes there. That's a pretty good Pipa impression.
Yeah, very much so.
Pipa at 95 HP himself.
Yet again, not doing a great job being Pipa, but, you know, we forgive him.
Yeah, I mean, these Pipa not being Pipa has been, conducive to him getting top 3 finishes consistently throughout the course of this fight night. So
Look, last time we thought Pipa wasn't being Pipa. By the time it was 4-3, he was still down to like 40-something HP. So
that's
he's
true.
got time.
He does.
He's got time.
I mean, if he wasn't, what's it called? If he wasn't so healthy during the early game, Pipa would have been like 20 HP or something the last game during the roll down, and maybe even would have bought forward at that point.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Saving that early HP, very important.
Mm-hmm. Here's the
Deisik-
umbrellas.
Deisik's got the item shop here.
Yeah, it's a ton of items here. Oh, sorry. I was thinking of. Never mind. I was thinking we were still on Narkez's board for some reason. I was like, wait, that's like Umbrellos, 2 Shojins, but no, a different board. Different board. Deisik here though. Some good items if depending on what he chooses to build here. Picks up an Olaf.
No, it's not Olaf game.
Could go into the Berserker route, but probably not, seeing as there are no other Berserkers here for Deisik.
Yeah, it definitely seems a little bit weird having the Olaf, but Might hold on to it, see if he kind of randomly runs into a bunch of berserkers.
Yeah, Deisik, a player known for slamming some items if they're good, does decide that this is the point where he needs to start slamming some items. Jinx, though, maybe going Ocean Mage himself, has a Morello's Syndra there.
Yeah, getting some of those balls out, landing on top of Deisik's composition. Just has this Talia left with the mountain buff, though, so she's quite tanky. Getting buffed up by the Lunar. Just getting a lot of attack speed, a lot of damage out, and might be able to hang on long enough to finally take down the rest of this comp. But no, that Thresh shield actually was very clutch because it stopped the auto from Talia from finishing the Thresh, which would have caused the spell to go on Syndra and won the round for Deisik. So that coming out just in time, allowing Syndra the time to get that ball down and take out Talia. Deisik losing the round as a result.
Yeah, no, that round went into overtime right as Talia cast that ulti, and it did over 1,000 damage. That would have one-shot the Syndra for sure. Souless here has some Yasuos and some friends again. This time has the tier 2 Azir with Azir items as well, though. Death Cap and a Rage Blade. Looking pretty strong here, I think, as long as the front line doesn't fall over.
Yeah, he's gonna be getting that first one out to kill some Voidlings. Just killing off a bunch of Voidlings right now. See if those Voidlings get refreshed by the Malzahar here, as we see Sand Soldier finally make its way into the back line. That's what he needed. It does take down the Malz, and the shielding from the Karma going to be enough to keep this Azir alive and pumping. He's doing plenty of damage right now and takes out Sphinx's composition. Soulless quite strong with these items on the tier 2 Azir. It's very early on for this unit. So getting that out, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, a couple things from that round. Sphinx rolled down to between 10 and 19 gold there, had very low gold, and had committed to making that Runan's Hurricane for the Malzahar, but it still wasn't enough for beating Soulless there. Soulless pretty strong with that Azir. Sphinx, if he had committed, no meme, if he had committed to getting double Shojin, maybe would have won the round. Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
Very much
so. NaturesBF got a Warmogs.
Yeah, has Warmogs GA and has a Rage Blade on the Twitch with a what's called a glove on the bench there. Already has 2 Twitches as well. He is weak, has rolled down a little bit. Needs to find that Twitch too before he's really going to be considered strong though. Running to Soulless, but I think Soulless may be a bit too strong. Oh, actually, maybe not. Warmogs OP.
Get the Sand Soldier out and just chunks down the Nasus. It was one hit. It was one hit away from that Nasus taking down the Azir, and from there, I don't think Karma's going to bring down the Nasus in time.
Yeah, if that one hit didn't kill, exactly as you said there, that would have been the other way for that round. Natures, what's he gonna pick up here? He wants a sword. He does not want a sword, actually. Gonna opt, I think, for the Last Whisper Twitch over the IE Twitch. I think that those are both very, very good items, but Last Whisper can be providing a lot of value there when he starts piercing, rat-a-tat-tatting through the whole enemy team. Hey, it has 4 rangers at this point as well. So a lot of those rangers will be dealing some big damage. He really wants a Braum, though. If he had extra Glacial and those, the Warmogs and the Braum, I think that'd be a bit better than Nasus, though. Maybe eventually we'll get it.
We'll have to see how he transitions there. He does have 2 Twitches. He needs one more.
Yep. Last Whisper, there we go. On to that Twitch. Probably will go to level 7 after Wolves and continue to roll down. I don't imagine he'll keep rolling down on 6 for much longer, if at all, rather. Deisik, though, also towards the end of the lobby here in terms of HP, 54. See Jinx pretty low. Pipa, there we go. Pipa's getting down to those low HP numbers right now, as he has definitely chosen to econ, I would imagine.
Usually Anna's just murdering me.
Yeah, for sure.
Cayrub
going up against Cayrub. That Kindred looking mighty strong. Ginsu's Hand of Justice gets into the back line, chunks down the front line here, but actually the Twitch with the 4 Ranger buff kind of still shredding. That guy gets the T2. I mean, he's going to be slapping for sure.
Pops off, definitely. Tier 2, that would have been a, even faster fight there. I expected the Kindred, honestly, to take that one, but Kindred kept jumping away and having to walk forward again. That little more time that she spent doing that may have costed the round, as the Twitch was just able to shoot that whole time. Oh, Deisik here finding a Yi. Maybe will opt to go for those 6 shadows there, actually. Wait, has Kindred 4 shadows. Just needs the Senna, which is in the shop. So, yeah. Wait, maybe not 6 shadows? Maybe it doesn't opt to do that? Because of these, it's called the nerfs?
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, the Yi here does have pretty good items going to start to pop off after that meditate, but it's all on to a Leona, and you can just see how much damage she is mitigating there. Might not be enough, though, as the Yi's still ripping through the composition right now, getting onto that Kiana, but the rest of his composition has already gone down. And Narkez going to lose this round here to Deisik.
Yeah, we see the power of Yi there, regardless of the nerfs. Oh man, naturally rolling a Scion and a Singed if he would have wanted it, but I don't believe he will. Sells off that unit there. Puts in the shadows. Yep, there we go. 6 shadows. We saw 6 shadows earlier, I believe, from Nature's. Was, I think, in the 7th place. Ended in 7th place. Deisik was able to find a very early Yi here, though, so maybe it'll be better or good enough, rather, to get a top 4.
Yeah, it might be enough, especially if you can find the Yi too. I mean, that would be massive. It is very early, though, for the first Yi. He's going to go straight to 8. Fast 8 from Deisik.
For the probably the clouds.
Probably for the sake of trying to find that tier 2 Yi and accelerate this game plan.
Yeah, and he had the Yasuo. I don't think he would have done it if he didn't have Yasuo, because it gives 2 really good synergies in there as well. That's something Deisik does a lot. He's okay with spending a bunch of gold, like all of his gold, in order to get a good unit in there for some good synergies. Here's going to be some Berserkers, but there are no Olafs, though, for Narkez. Going to, for sure, pick up that Volibear, I believe. But
yeah, this is the first time he hasn't really been able to find his composition, not finding that Olaf yet, already at 4-1. Still time to find it, has enough HP to work with at 56. Pipa, of course, 38, doing his best Pipa.
We're almost at the Pipa round.
Almost there, almost there.
Narkez, you're going to pick up that volley? No? Yes? Why doesn't he pick up the volley? Oh, there we go. Okay, scaring me there. Maybe he wanted more gold to roll with? I don't know. Just needs 1 single Olaf. Before
he's almost there, but...
Has the power spike there. Sells off to Leona. Sells off to Talia. No more mountain. That's for sure.
Yeah, 5 Zerkers. It's not quite 6 Zerkers, is it? But...
nope. Wait, who's he going to put the items on now? The Kazakhs? Orin?
Can't really put them in anywhere. I mean,
Orin, I guess. All right, there you go. I think
all right, let's go Orin. Let's see how it does in this fight. Hand of Justice with the GA on the Orin. He's gonna get stunned up, trying to pump out as much as he can with that Bellows Breath. Taking down many units already. The Orin, the MVP of this fight. So much damage.
Actually, 2.5k. I mean,
yeah, he's kind of pumping.
All right, Pipa, 22 HP. Let's see it. The Pipa round brought to you by Giant Slayer. Let's go here, Pipa. 50 gold to roll with. Finds a Master Yi, as he usually seems to. Finds Olafs that other players are looking for here, though. A couple of Kazakhs, rolls past him. Tarek probably will pick that up. Uh-oh, the Pipa round.
Uh-oh, what are these items that Pipa has? This is very different than standard Pipa play. Let's see if he... finds a couple good things here for himself. Or this is going to look pretty bad, because he is quite low on the Pipa round here, down to 22, and no Zed, no dice, nothing that he really wants, and that's a tier 1 Karma as an item carrier, not really doing too much work, as this is the army, the swarm coming out from the side of Sphinx. Going to be taking apart Pipa right now. Going to drop him very, very low, as he's going to take so much damage here. It's always deceiving with all of these summons, but still looks like quite a bit. Pipa dropping down to single digits already. He doesn't have too much time. That's the Pipa round, and he's down to 9.
Zed. There's the Zed. Pipa, look at his face. Pipa. Okay, he's making this Zed. He's making the Zed a warden. He's swapping some things up. Can he come back to get top 3 once again with 9 HP?
He's like dabbing or something, you know. I don't know, Pipa.
See it. Enlighten
Bro,
me.
calm down.
I
You gotta
just
figure it out. You're in trouble, bud. You gotta
he is
get down to business.
I swear, if Pipa rolls a Z here
I'm like bleeding
over the
HP.
course of this next round,
Bleeding
How
his
mad?
pizzle out the
will I even be mad? I don't know.
Tier two?
Rolls a Tarek, I guess that's pretty freaking cool.
That could also be something.
There it is. There it
Yeah,
is.
so I gotta take a moment. I gotta walk around,
Yes.
just take
Yeah,
over.
yeah, get up. Yeah, get up. Go stretch your legs. Stretch your legs. Yeah. Hey, come back in a few. All right, we'll take it from here. So, Pipa picks up this Z2 yet again, as all things in the world are right, you know. Of course, we were a little bit concerned, but why were we? Why would we worry at all? Pipa running into Souless here. He's got the tier 2 Zed with the GA. Doesn't quite have the perfect Pipa items, but he has a tier 2 Tarek, but it doesn't go off. Actually going to go down to the Azir. But there we go. The rest of the unit's going to push through because, of course, tier 2 Zed at this round, just 2 past the Pipa round, going to be enough to take down Souless. And Pipa cheesing in the corner, laughing quite a bit as he knows he has no business being alive anymore. Finding that Zed, though, gonna keep him in this, and potentially he can make his way back up to a top 3 with the tier 2 Zed and the tier 2 Tarek.
Sorry, I need some water. Continue, please. I just hydrated.
Yeah. No, yeah. You know, stay hydrated. Hydration check, posture check, vibe check. Pipa feeling the good vibes because he's got tier 2 Zed yet again.
All right. Well, Pipa has done it again. Pipa has managed to find the Z2, rolled a Tarek 2 as well there, and you know it seems strong enough to be able to take some rounds. Oh, we haven't even hit Raptors yet, right? This was on 4-3, so has the opportunity to build some more very good items for the Zed. Has half a redemption on the bench here as well, and yeah, taking some victories here. We'll see.
Important to note: Narkez at 4, Pipa at 9.
Wait, what?
Yeah, those are the two leaders going to this game, and Narkez, if we could swap over to him real quick here. I think that's a 6 Zerker comp from him. I'm not sure. He'll look at his own board soon. He's scouting Pipa.
He's looking at Pipa because he knows all he needed was for Pipa to not do better than him. And he sees the tier 2 Zed and the tier 2 Tarek, and I would be worried if I was Narkez because this is Pipa trying to be on the come up right now, trying to catch him, trying to pass him up because Narkez only on that tier 1 Olaf, which he finally did find, but is it too little too late as Narkez is down to 4 HP?
The roll down needs one more Olaf and then maybe he's okay. Rolling it all down. No Olaf, and that's what she wrote, at least for there. Morello's on the Mundo, Bo on the Kazakhs. Pipa did find the redemption. That's disgusting. Cayrub finding the tier 2 Master Yi, though. I haven't seen the tier 2 Master Yi in a while. Can Narkez hold on for this round, though, facing at Sphinx? That's a brand 1 with those items, so maybe.
He might have a shot. As we see the Olaf, that's who we got to watch. Hand of Justice double on his side. He's not even looking. He's looking at Pipa. That's where his focus is. Is Pipa going to go down before him? And it looks like no, Pipa is going to live this round. Cayrub drops all the way down to 4, but it looks like that was it for Narkez. He's going to fall in 8th. And it's disaster for Narkez. It opens the door for Pipa.
It's happening again. The same thing. The consistency of these players who are in first place getting those seconds, the first 3 games. They go 8th in game number 4.
Yeah, we have the run back of Striving Light flashbacks to a couple fight nights ago, or more like a fight night of yore. It's been a long time since that one. Where she had those first place finishes back to 8th.
Oh man, Pipa. How many more placements does he need? So Narkez has gotten 3 points, so he has at 40. Pipa needs
he needs 4th.
Yeah, he needs a 4th to be able to win Fight Night. So we'll keep our eye on that. I don't think anyone else can contest those scores.
Okay, so then when you
It's
add
between Pipa,
so if you already have a
Narkez, and
tier,
Fate right
and
now.
you're adding an item that is
Yeah,
like
so
also
far,
+20,
Pipa
okay,
gonna
that
win
makes
this
sense.
round. Cayrub and
That makes
Naturesbf are the ones that Narkez is cheering for right now. They need to hang on a little bit longer. Need to knock Pipa out, but Pipa with the tier 2 Zed with almost perfect items. The tier 2 Tarek in the front line.
Yeah. I wonder if he chooses to swap these karma items. You know, maybe if he doesn't get a good Zed. Wait, that's a tier 3 Azir there. Is that from Soulless's board?
I think Souless was the one with the Azir
Yeah.
earlier.
I think so. I have to check on that soon. I kind of.
Yeah, if you're Narkez, you're hoping that tier 3 Azir finds its way across from Pipa, tries to take him down, but Pipa gonna fight Deisik here, gonna get that Tarek ulti off, and the Zed is pretty untouched right now, making clones, and that's probably gonna be enough to take the round as long as that Zed can start ramping up early. But Deisik starting to get some stuff. The Yi
Wait, am I
kind of
dead?
pumping through everybody, and the Yi finally
I'm
Yi might be
dead.
able to take them down. There's just one clone
Wait, I'm
remaining.
dead.
Can it do it? No. The clone's gonna die and Pipa's out.
Oh,
Pipa's out in 5th. Pipa's out in
That's-
5th.
Me?
That's
Almost
not
made it
enough.
all the way to
Shadows
4th,
with
but it's
11
not quite
on Yi,
enough.
just
And
100.
Narkez should secure his fight night win with that.
What just happened? The Yi with the 1v9 there. Pipa, his face at the end there told it all. He was not expecting to lose that round, but he did. Man, I was really expecting to see Pipa in the top 4 here with his composition. Like, that was nuts. But we do. I
Deisik,
think that's
the
confirmed.
hero for EU,
Yeah,
helping Narkez get victory here at Fight Night. The EU boys teaming up on Pipa, take him down.
helping each other out here. Man, we got the Warmogs on the Yi now, so he's not going to be falling at the beginning of the fight, hopefully, unless the Azir Soldier has something to say about that one. That's a double GA Yasuo, but, you know, casual.
Yeah, it's looks like a Yasuo and Friends comp, except for it's an Azir and Friends. And
Yep.
the Azir is putting out a ton of damage, but going against the Yi, and he just shreds through, and Soulless actually goes out in 3rd. So Sphinx also went down in 4th there, and now we've quickly gone from a top 6 to a top 2. Jinxed versus Deisik.
Man, you know, it picks up a Shadow Lux as well there. I wonder what that's going to replace, if anything. Maybe it could take out Vigar. Okay, take out Malzahar and Senna, maybe, in favor of another Blade Master. I'm not quite sure. Favors the Shadow Lux over the Malzahar, though, for sure. Didn't have time to move that Zephyr. I think Jinx.
Yeah. Grabs the Syndra, not the best target, not the worst. Yasuo gonna deflect that Pyroclasm at first with the Meditate, but pushes on forward, trying to take down as many units as he can, healing quite a bit from that hand adjusted. But the Pyroclasm gonna bounce a couple times, hitting him consecutively. And Deisik gonna lose that round, but still very close, as that is a massive win streak from Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx actually a player who hasn't really done the best over the course of this fight night yet. He has been ramping it up though. Game 1 got 8th, game 2 7th, and game 3 6th, and he's made his way into the top 2 for this game. I don't think he can make top 4. No, I don't think he can make top 4, but still, nonetheless, a good run for his last game, a sort of a bit of maybe like personal, redemption there to at least get one good placement in. Infinity Edge there. Deisik, is he looking to level up or roll? It seems like rolling it down is going to be the play here.
Just wants to find that Yi if he can.
Yeah. Finding Yi would be very important here. Find some Sorakas. Not a great roll down there.
Yeah, not finding much of anything. Gonna get in the 4 Mystics though against
That's
the
good.
mage
That's
composition.
good. Very, very good actually. So I guess he found more or less what he was looking for. Swaps the Zephyr last second. 6 Shadows, 4 Mystics is super, super good with the Blade Master as well.
Gets the brand, that's huge. And so we're gonna watch
And
this
the
Yi
Malphite.
start to rip through the composition of Jinx, but the Yi still up, going onto the Malphite, gets onto the Lux, finally onto the Brand, the Pyrohasm, trying to bounce back and forth, gets one more cast off onto the E, but the E's trying to melt through the Brand as fast as he can, and he does, and that'll do it for Deisik getting that win, but it's not going to be enough to take Jinx down. He goes down to single digits, but now this is probably the last round that we're going to have. Whoever wins this is going to take this lobby. Like you said, Jinx probably can't top 4, but Deisik still can.
Yep. Deisik most definitely can. So many points Deisik is at here, actually. He's at 21 coming into this game. He may already have... yeah, I think he's top 4 no matter what, but if he wins this game, I think he gets into top 3. So actually very, very important if he wants to get invited back to the next week at Fight Night here. The Zephyrs, let's see where they go on to. Not great units here, though.
Right. The Brand gonna get the double cast off the first Pyroclasm, one on the Yi, seeing how many bounces he can get. The Vygar, he needs the targeting from the Vygar to go on the Yi. Doesn't get it yet, but he does get the win on the round. The Lux Laser not enough, and Deisik gonna fall here. Jinx gonna win that lobby, getting first. Deisik falling in second, which may actually have still been enough to get him into top 3 here. Just doing the math real quick, and yes, second place gonna put him 1 point above Sphinx, just barely squeaking into the top 3.
True. Second place is 12 points. He will get his way into the top 3, so didn't need that victory there, but was playing as if he did. Moving those Zephyrs around. We have Narkez, 40 points. Congratulations to him. Pipa, 39 points. That is a heartbreaker if you're Pipa, but Narkez, very, very well played. Yeah, Deisik sneaking his way back into the top 3 after some average at best placements over the course of the first 3 games. Sphinx, 32 points. Cayrub and Soulless tied for 5th. Jinx, 25 points, and Nature's actually with a couple of unfortunate games at the end there, running us out with 21 points. But man, I feel like we always have the game number 4 that just really just puts everything on its head. It's just like, what is going on? The options, the outcomes running through my head. I love it. that was exciting.
So good for Narkez, and then it became it fell into fate's hands as Narkez fell out in 8th. Oh, you have to think his heart was beating, especially when Pipa picked up that Z2 in the Taric 2. I mean, he must have thought he lost at that point. But his EU boy, Deisik, had his back, coming through with the Master Yi, taking out Pipa like an assassin, bringing him down, getting him in second place instead. Pipa with 39 points on another night that may have been enough to win, but not tonight with Narkez getting 40.
Man. Not sure if we're getting an interview. Oh, I think we are. I am curious to get Narkez's point of view. Just thought process going through that game number 4 there, and I think we will jump in momentarily. It's just one moment here.
Top 3 is really good. I'm happy about it. Thanks everyone, guys, for watching. Thanks
Alrighty.
for follow.
Get him in here in 1 second, and I guess just pick his brain. I mean, new player has shown up and really dominated over the course of tonight. Wasn't sure, how he would do. Him and Soulless being the new Fight Night competitors. Soulless not having one of the best runs. Maybe we'll see him again in the future. But our top 4 being Narkez, Pipa, Deisik, and Sphinx.
Yeah, we'll just have to pick his brain on the meta. I mean, we have him in here now. Narkez, congratulations on the win, man. First time here at Fight Night, and you absolutely destroyed at least the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, coming in, you basically just went for that Berserker composition every single game. I mean, what are your thoughts on the meta? Do you feel like that's just the strongest or most comfortable?
I am super bad right now, so I actually expected going bottom 2. I don't know.
Bottom 2, but got first place. I mean,
I haven't actually played Zerkers. I've tried a lot of somethings, but it never worked out for me. So, and then I got told from other people, Zerkers pretty good, and I kind of hit it a lot. So Don't know.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just-
you did.
I
you
don't
did,
even
you
think
know?
they're too good. I feel like I high rolled a lot.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that Berserkers is kind of still like a top 4 composition, but usually won't win a lobby?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And yeah, so in game number 4, unfortunately, you went 8th, but fortunately, then Pipa did not get into the top 4. But if you, I think you were scouting Pipa's composition there, it's one where Pipa went every single game. Actually, he was here last week as well. And over the course of 8 games, Pipa has fast aided and looked for Zed and found Zed probably every single time. Do you think that composition may be better? Just what are your thoughts on Pipa's composition there?
I feel like it's kind of risky because if you don't hit, you just go like really AF. It's like kind of first AF comp. And then I actually played like kind of dead style like since set 2 release, so I think it's definitely viable. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just too risky at this point for me because I don't like playing for first AF normally.
Yeah.
But I think it has way higher ceiling most other.
Definitely. I think that, for that style of play, if you mitigate, your HP losses during the mid game and you're able to get fast 8 with, decent amount of HP, as long as you hit at that point, then yeah, you're going to be pretty well off. Casanova, do you have any more questions here?
Yeah, I mean, just
Narcos.
further to touch on that last game. I mean, what was going through your head at the end? We saw you watching Pipa's board. Did you know that he had to get 4th in order to beat you?
I did the math. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and you had your.
I just hoped he somehow got killed by someone.
You had your
Deisik
EU
saved
boy
you.
Deisik come through for you. Come through for the EU.
Yeah,
boys.
I knew Deisik was strong, so I really hoped like that he faced him some point. I was really happy that he was like at 9 HP really early, so he like die really quick. But then he hit like Terry 2, Z2 after Carousel. It was, I don't know. I felt like I kind of thought he was gonna win the game.
Honestly,
we did too.
I was gonna say, at that point where he had everything, it's I literally during the cast I took a moment. I just had to take a walk from my computer after he hit not only the Tarek 2 but the Z2. I mean, just the insane amount of high rolling that had to happen for that. But then Deisik came in with the Yi 1 and still was able to take that down, which brings me to another question. Actually, shadows, they were hot fixed, they were nerfed a couple days ago, but Deisik, performed pretty well that last game with shadows. Do you think that shadows still have a place in this meta?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, shadows are still really good. He hit Yi at 3-5 if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I think I just faced him at that round, so I think it's always the right choice to pivot into 6 shadows if you're like really close to it, like not playing like lights or something, and have the items for it. But they use the all meta items really well, so I think they're still really good. And it's just the same. Yeah, you have to hit E, which is kind of risky.
Yeah, definitely risky, but if you hit it on 3-5, pretty.
Yeah,
good.
I would go for 6 shadows, definitely.
Definitely. I was wondering.
Still really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if he would commit to that, and he ended up doing that. I think, Deisik got second place that game, which did get him into the top 3. So, yeah, you will be returning next week. Congratulations again on the victory alongside Pipa and Deisik. Unless, Cassie, you have any more questions?
No, we can send it off, man. Narkez, congratulations on your win, and we're excited to have you back next week to see if you can run it back, get the back-to-back. So, thanks for
having me.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, man.
All right. Well, that will wrap it up for this week of Fight Night Rising. Man, we had that real intense game number 4 again. I love it when those scenarios pop up. But yeah, congrats again to Narkez. We will see you guys in 1 week as we do weekly Fight Night Risings now. That's about it for me. Casa?
Man.
What's up, dude?
I'm all good. I'm wiped out. Those games were exciting. Those were great.
They were. Oh man, they were nuts. And on that, we will send it off. We'll see you guys next time for some more fight night action on TFT. Till then, signing off.